Welcome to our game of the week, a rainy Gus Anderson Field. I'm Gary Drapcho with Jim LaCorchick. It is Buffalo St. Francis against Cathedral Prep. Cathedral Prep will receive the opening kickoff as Steve Schuster puts his foot into it, and Ramon Ellis picks it up on one bounds, comes up over the 40, breaks over the 40, and gets to the 42-yard line. A good return by Ramon Ellis, and the Ramblers, Jim LaCorchick, start out in excellent field position.
Finally, Gary, though, football weather.
Oh,
we've been waiting.
Here's the starting lineup for the Ramblers, brought to you by your Toyota dealer, Owen George, the son of Minna George, the head coach. Justin Lustig is back at tailback, as he is a good runner, isn't he, Jim?
Oh, he's an outstanding runner. I think he's really a big-time prospect.
You saw the offensive line for the Ramblers and the rest of their starting lineup, and here comes Justin Lustig to the 45 to the 46-yard line. Tom Bestpitch came up to make the stop for the Red Raiders of St. Francis from the Monsignor Martin League in Buffalo. And on this rainy night here, they look like the San Francisco 49ers. They hope to play like the Super Bowl champions.
Gary Minna George says they play offense like the 49ers. He said they'll throw at you from every angle.
And there's the rain that has fallen over Gus Anderson Field. The last hour or two, the field is rather soggy, and Cathedral Prep will have a second down and 4 from the 45. Here's the pitch pass to Lustig coming up over the right side, crosses midfield into St. Francis territory, close to a first down of the 47. Rick Matta was the man who hit him, number 44, a 6-foot, 205-pound senior on this Red Raiders team, which won their opening game as they beat Frontier 33-12 a week ago.
You can see right there, Gary, that St. Francis better be ready to play inside the tackles. If they don't stop that, they're not going any further than that the rest of the evening. And with Powell at fullback, great runner, great blocker.
And as Powell receives the handoff from quarterback Owen George, flags fly, and the play is whistled dead. It was a first down by Justin Lustig. So the Ramblers would have had a 1st and 10 at the 47. The indication is illegal procedure against the defense.
Zone, 5 yards, first down.
First and 5, Gary. That's not exactly what St. Francis needs either.
No, they don't. Vinnie Marchant calling the officials. St. Francis, their starting lineup defensively. 4-man front. Bartlett is the big man there. 1st and 5 now. They mark it at the 42-yard line. And another flag is thrown as the play is whistled dead again.
Same official. Be anxious to see what he calls. Both teams talking it over.
Another procedure penalty called against St. Francis? Yes. So it's an automatic first down, 2 5-yard penalties.
If this comes up short, they're lining up in the neutral zone. If this comes up short, they better do something different with their mark-off.
So, yeah, somebody's taking small steps. All right, so 2 consecutive 5-yard penalties gives the Ramblers 10 more yards and the new set of downs to work with. At the 38-yard line, we'll call it the 37, 1st and 10, Owen George, his first start at quarterback last week. Good numbers, 6 of 8. Very efficient. Hands it to Lustig. Lustig breaks out of a tackle in the backfield and then spins forward inside the 35, gets to the 34. It is Kevin Summer and Tom Bestpitch who make the stop on the play. It will be second down. We'll call it 6 yards to go.
Justin Lustig, 5'9", 170, big-time hitter, good quickness. The Ramblers with one of their quickest backfields ever with Powell at fullback, Ellis at a flanker, and Mark Lockett, one of the top sprinters in the state, available also.
Let's see what the Ramblers try to do with the 2nd down and 6. Fumble off the snap, and you saw Owen George jump on it immediately, about 2 yards deep in the backfield, back at the 35, maybe the 36-yard line. So now a passing situation. 3rd down, we'll call it 8 as they lose 2 yards on the play. And maybe the weather affecting. The rain has been falling pretty steadily here for the last 2 hours, Jim LaCorchick. The field is a little bit soggy.
St. Francis, Gary, totally disregarding any potential pass. They are just sending everybody. They may be a little looser this time.
3rd down 8.
Roll it.
George back to throw, under some pressure, swings it out. Lustig is wide open and catches it, but will have to go down on one knee, and it's stopped right there at the 25, but it is enough for his first down. Bestpitch was covering on the play. If Lustig makes the catch in full stride, he might have a touchdown on that.
Owen George put the ball right there. Owen George is a solid quarterback. Prep loves running this play. Lustig comes out of the backfield. I told you they were rushing everybody, Gary. On the positive side, he caught the ball. If he catches it when he should have, he goes all the way on the negative. But he did the first thing first. He stayed with it. But St. Francis playing run all of the way.
George was 6 of 8 for 106 yards last week, 1 of 1 here today. Lustig with the delay, ankle tackled by Kevin Sumner as he stretches it close to the 20-yard line, and a gain of 5. So the Ramblers continue to pound the ball between the tackles, Jim, and pick up some substantial yardage on the play.
Here comes Lockett in at tailback for Lustig, and as I said, Lockett, one of the premier sprinters in the state. So you're going to look at Lockett wide, Gary, or Powell right up the middle. Powell, a transfer from Mercier, sat out last year. He is a senior.
This defense for St. Francis with 3 interceptions a week ago. Here is Lockett. Lockett at the 20, sprints to the 15, turns it in at the 5, and is down to the 4-yard line. Mark Lockett showing speed and power before Steve Schuster drops him. But it is another first down. It'll be first and goal for the Ramblers from just inside the 5-yard line.
You'll see Mark Lockett. He gets to the corner as quick as anybody in the league, and he breaks a couple tackles. As you said, not only quickness on that, but some good power. The Ramblers with a sustained march. Lockett flat out can fly. He runs quick.
He runs pretty quick. Maybe not fly.
Yeah.
Over-exaggerating it a little bit, huh?
That's early in the season. I'll get under control.
First and goal just inside the 5. Straight ahead give to Lockett. Churning, and they'll stack him up short of the goal line at about the 2. But it'll be second down and goal from the 2-yard line as Mark Lockett, number 1, 5'9", 160-pound senior, showed flashes of that speed a year ago when they let him play late in some games and inserted in some special team situations.
I think it was the Altoona game that we did on television, Gary. They put him in. First time he touched, he went about 60 yards around end.
Second down and goal at the 2-yard line.
Minna George likes to power the football in from here. It'll be power Lockett again, I would imagine.
Owen George takes the snap, straight ahead give, and it is a touchdown for the Ramblers. Number 22, Rasan Powell, powers his way in behind the offensive line, crossing the goal line, picking up the first score, and it came quickly for the Ramblers, a 2-yard run by Powell, and a 6-0 lead.
Not much there, Gary, but he meets the initial contact head-on, runs over the tackler, and buries the tackler in the end zone. Give Powell credit for that, not only 6, but for the extra effort.
Yeah, they ran right over Jim Walsh, the big left guard, 6 foot, 230 pounds. Powell picking up the final 2 yards of that initial drive for the Ramblers, and with 7:28 left on the clock, the Ramblers have a 6-0 lead and will try to go up 7-0. Chris Spry boots it up. It is good. 7-0 in favor of the Ramblers as they score first on our Game of the Week from Gus Anderson Field.
Clarion University. Our students are meeting challenges in the classroom, on the field of play, on the stage, and in real-world settings. With personal attention from the faculty, they are preparing for challenging careers in some of the fastest-growing occupations. Clarion University, meeting the challenge for our students, for our communities, for our future.
Horsing around, change of pace, friendly place, ride hard out to the town. Horses will run, we'll have some fun, day and night all year round. The place to go, in place or show, Erie down, excitement from start to finish.
You'll see Rashawn Powell right up the middle. Senior transfer, sat out last year. Excellent quickness, Gary. Very strong, good blocker also. Minna George is really high on him.
He scores first here to make it 7-0 with 7:28 to play here in the first quarter on our Game of the Week. And number 9, Brian Spry, will tee it up at the 40-yard line. Jim, you were talking about Minna George being pretty high on this Brian Spry as a kicker, and we'll get a chance to see him here on the kickoff.
Just a sophomore. They had senior Eric Wilkos kick the extra point, but Spry, unless he lets me down, has a real strong leg.
And Prep has had its share of good place kickers in the past. Low kick on this soggy night, picked up at the 20, comes up over the 25 to the 30, and at the 34-yard line is where St. Francis, in their San Francisco 49er-like uniforms, will take over 1st and 10. So we'll see what this offense of St. Francis, brought to you by your local Toyota dealers, and that is the offensive line, which is basically there to protect the quarterback. The quarterback is Jamie Jays, and he is a good one. Through 2 touchdown passes last week, a returning starter. As a matter of fact, Coach Jerry Smith returning what he says are 12 starters on offense. You tell me how you get 12 starters on offense. But apparently 12 guys that had played a lot last year are returning for this offense, and Jays will put it up right away. Flings it down the far sideline, and it is incomplete. Nearly intercepted by Ramon Ellis, who was over there covering at the 50-yard line.
Good double coverage over there by the sophomore linebacker, Irvin, another sophomore linebacker, Tony Bowers, as well as one of the senior captains, Ramon Ellis. Starting to rain harder, Gary. As far as 12 returning starters, maybe they played a Canadian team last year, and they're all back.
Different rules in Western New York, perhaps. By the way, Jay's considered one of the top quarterbacks in Western New York. He attended the Penn State summer football camp and reportedly got high grades from quarterback coach Dick Anderson of the Nittany Lions as far as his technique and his delivery. Hands the ball off to Josh Hayes. Hayes trying to turn the corner. It's met head-on by the Ramblers defense for no gain on the play. Jason Larson led the surge for the Ramblers and was joined by a bunch of others, as you see the front line and the inside linebackers in the Ramblers defense. And they have a few returning. Ed Serafini returns, and Jack Sack. What a great name for an outside linebacker, number 24.
And they got a lot of quickness out there. This year, Minna got away from some of the bigger kids and going with quickness, Gary.
It paid off that time. They gave him about a half a yard. We'll call it 3rd and 9. The ball just short of the 35-yard line. Hayes, with the rain pouring down, goes back to throw. Looking, firing down the middle, has a man wide open, in and out of the hands of number 4, Tom Bestpitch, who had a first down at midfield. Lustig was covering on the play, but that one should have been caught. Instead, St. Francis will have to punt it away.
Gary, good pass coverage. You'll see the quarterback all kinds of time. Zeroes in on his receiver and throws a laser right to him. Nice pattern, nice pass, and no catch. But good pass blocking for the St. Francis team.
Back in punt formation is Sortisio. And a lone setback, Justin Lustig stands at his 35-yard line for the Ramblers. On 4th and 9. In the rain, good snap, gets the kick away. Good kick in the rain, driving Lustig back to his 30. Catches it, eludes a tackle, has some room to run. Trying to make it to the outside, gets to the 35, and goes down at the 38-yard line. From nearly the same spot that the Ramblers began their first series when they drove for a touchdown, a 1st and 10 for the Ramblers, as Prep will take over at its own 38-yard line.
Gary, the first time Prep touched the ball, they went the distance in 11 plays in 4 minutes and 32 seconds, capped by a 2-yard rush by the fullback, Powell, and Wilkos with the kick.
Lustig and Powell combining for 144 yards last week, and they lost to Cardinal Moody. Ball is loose on the ground, and who has it? They mark it down. They give it to the Ramblers at the 38-yard line, even though you see number 86, Kevin Summer, with the football in his hands. He said it popped loose, but apparently the referees blew the whistle dead.
How can that be, Gary? We'll see right now. It's a fumble right from the beginning.
It's loose on the ground.
There it is. That's... I don't know what the official was looking at that time. You can see right here, never had the handoff. The ball's loose, and it comes up to the St. Francis player. Well, Prep said they didn't get a lot of breaks at Youngstown last week. It's good to be home.
2nd down and 11. Here comes Justin Lustig on a delay play up over the 45. He's at the 50. He is into St. Francis territory at the 40, the 35, the 30, 25, knocked out of bounds. And a big run from Justin Lustig. Steve Schuster knocks him out near the 25-yard line. The Ramblers will have a 1st and 10.
Yeah, if you're going to play Prep, you better play the draw play all the way. Nobody runs it better than Prep. Nobody runs it better than Justin Lustig. Up the middle, cuts it to the outside, and then turns it upfield. Excellent, excellent call, excellent run by Lustig.
1st and 10 for the Ramblers at the 24-yard line. As you see Schuster make a touchdown-saving nudge to get Lustig out of bounds. They give it to Lockett. Lockett turning inside now, going outside. He's at the 20, trying to race 15. He's at the 10. He's at the 5. He's down to the 2-yard line as Steve Schuster again making a touchdown-saving tackle. Lockett tried to simply outsprint everyone in the end zone and came within a yard of doing so.
Well, I'll tell you what, they give him a little gap, and Mark Lockett turns it upfield. You'll see great blocking right here by the Prep right side of the line, and Lockett, when he gets to the outside, although they had an angle on him, he still almost gets to the end zone, Gary.
Montevecchio 58, Greskevich 70, 75 Walsh, 77 Crosby, 73 Hurtle. The offensive lineman for the Ramblers doing a job. Straight up the middle, touchdown for the Ramblers. And again, it is Powell who scores, and the Ramblers... Or check that, it is Owen George, the quarterback sneak, who scores, and the Ramblers have a 13-0 lead. And they made it look easy again, Jim. 2 possessions, and they've more or less run over this St. Francis defense.
You'll see right there, Montevecchio just plows into the end zone, and Owen George follows him all the way in for the easy touchdown.
George will hold for Eric Wilkos.
Oh, wide open.
George flips it into the end zone, and was it caught? Yes, it was caught. Number 32 for the Ramblers, Tony Bowers, catches the 2-point conversion, and so it's 15-0 Ramblers as they roll in the first quarter.
The sports section. The nation's leader in youth sports photography. The sports section. Unique, creative, and collectible. The sports Make section. Your team season truly memorable. Call Scott Kuhn at 825-8344. The sports section.
Nationally known as a premier Catholic university in the Franciscan tradition, it's St. Bonaventure University. Money Magazine has once again ranked St. Bonaventure as one of the best buys among all private colleges and universities in the entire Northeast United States. Known for its competitive Division I athletics, its esteemed academic reputation, and its supportive community, St. Bonaventure will challenge your mind and prepare you for success in life and a career. Join us for an open house this fall or for our student bus trip to campus from Mill Creek Mall to experience the St. Bonaventure spirit.
St. Francis, Gary, was thinking kick all the way, 2 guys wide open, and Tony Bowers, the sophomore, comes back, makes a great catch for the 2-point conversion, 15-0 Prep with 4:52 left in the opening quarter. St. Francis is going to have to score about 35 points, Gary, to win this game.
Yeah, they may need to throw the ball a lot to get back into it now. 15-0 the score, 4:52 left in the first quarter, and the kick is a short one by Spy. It is taken across the 30 to the 35, and a great hit put on number 9, Doug McIntyre, as he gets it to the 36-yard line, and that is where St. Francis will take over 1st and 10.
Ramon Ellis, one of the harder hitters on the Prep team, Gary, came down. Good hit on the special teams. St. Francis right now, they need a drive, obviously. You don't have to be Vince Lombardi to figure that out at 15-0. A good drive and a score. They're back in the game. Momentum's on their side.
We'll be talking at halftime with Ron Search and perhaps a member of the St. Francis staff about the affiliation that may develop over the next few years between Cathedral Prep and St. Francis. Quick throw out to the right, actually a fumble. It's still loose. He's going to have to fall on it, and does so at the 30-yard line. Number 6, Chris Ortizio. It was behind him.
Number 6, Gary, was going to throw the ball. You'll see Ortizio definitely goes behind the quarterback on purpose. The linemen in a pass blocking situation. He was going to take that and throw the ball.
He needed to. It was considered a lateral rather than a pass. That's why he had to fall on it at the 30. They actually mark it at the 31. It's a loss of 4 and a 2nd down and 14. 3:55, clock running, first quarter. The Ramblers jumping out to a 15-0 lead, scoring on their first 2 possessions. Snap and pitch back to Hayes. Hayes has some running room across the 35 and is met head-on and stopped at the 38-yard line. Matt DeRamo and Justin Lustig from the defensive secondary making the stop for the Ramblers.
DeRamo, an outstanding all-around athlete for Prep. Be a good running back next year, DB this year, good baseball player. You'll see him come up and make the hit as the St. Francis team running from a passing formation, but DeRamo put an end to that.
3:14 and counting. As Jays, who last week 8 of 14, 162 yards, 2 touchdowns. Favorite receiver was Best Pitch, who had 6 catches for 92 yards and a touchdown. But he's had a couple drops so far. He goes back to throw, flings it out to the right, overthrows his intended receiver, which was number 4, Tom Bestpitch. Ramon Ellis covering on the play. Incomplete, makes it 4th down and 7, and St. Francis will have to punt it away again.
St. Francis had just 1 receiver out that time, and obviously he was well covered, and he threw into double coverage. Right now, the Ramblers are sending Ramon Ellis and Justin Lustig back. Lustig, one of the premier punt returners in the area.
Ellis and Lustig will be awaiting the punt of Chris Ortizio. who stands back at his 27-yard line awaiting the snap on 4th and 7. Rainy night from Gus Anderson Field. Our first Friday game of the week. Glad you can join us. And now St. Francis wants to call a timeout. We'll be right back with St. Francis punting and trailing the Ramblers 15-0.
Shop the Erie Sports Store's preseason buck sale before the word gets out. Erie Sports Stores, we do it right.
Erie Sports Store. For a complete in-depth analysis of tonight's game and all the hot sporting action around the region and the nation, read the Saturday Weekender. Home delivered, the Weekender is all you need to keep up with the times.
Hey, Jim, where's Carpet Craftsman? We haven't seen those guys for a while.
Right over there. Now, 27th and French across from Vet Stadium. We'll see them on September 22nd, 23rd when we're back at the stadium. Remember, Carpet Craftsman has the only certified master installer. They do it right or not at all.
Carpet Craftsman, 27th and French.
They want it known they're not the ones that put it on in the stadium.
Absolutely. That should be ready, by the way, the turf for next week's game.
Yep.
We'll be there in 2 weeks to broadcast a couple of games, including Prep and Moeller. Lustig drops the football at the 25, still loose on the ground as he's hit. They're scrambling for it at the 20, and let's see who they give it to. I think the Ramblers got it back, and they do. So Prep avoiding a turnover, getting the Lustig fumble back himself at the 20-yard line. They'll take over 1st and 10.
You'll see this punter, very good kicker, good hang time. Lustig taking it in the face of a good rush, fumbles it once, fumbles it again, it falls right back to him. That could have been the break St. Francis desperately needed. Now they desperately need a defensive stand.
15-0 Ramblers. Powell scored from 3 yards out. Quarterback Owen George scored from 1 yard out. That capped off 2 drives in the first 2 possessions. And here's some Lustig again, running into the secondary. Breaks a tackle at the 30. Has a first down as he spins close to the 35-yard line. And just lots of running room for Justin Lustig.
Not enough, according to Minute George. He was irate, and I think at Justin Lustig for not keeping it on the outside. He's just screaming on the sideline. Lustig comes out. Mark Lockett comes in. Minute George was not happy with that run. Lustig has it up the middle, cuts it outside, and for whatever reasons starts to turn it back in, and Minute George did not like that move.
Are there 2 more animated coaches in the game than Minute George of Prep and the guy we'll see tomorrow night, Joe Buffalino of Strong Vincent?
No.
Here is Powell running into the secondary. The big fullback across the 40 has another first down or close to it at the 45. Schuster finally dropped him down, and Steve Schuster, the 5'11", 160-pound senior, has made 2 or 3 touchdown-saving tackles in this game so far. At least touchdown-saving from the long run variety, as the Ramblers have eventually been able to punch these drives in for scores.
Yeah, he's leading the area right now in delaying touchdowns. And again, Schuster, the last man between the goal line for St. Francis. Powell, though, a strong runner.
Oh, I've been impressed with Powell so far in the first game. Here he comes again, takes a lick, and keeps on going, picks up 2 yards at the 47. Jay Pinkert, the 5'10", 180-pound junior inside linebacker, came up and smacked Powell as he came across the line of scrimmage. Call it a yard gain and a 2nd down and 9. But so far in this first quarter, and seeing the Ramblers for the first time this year, of course, they were on the road at Cardinal Mooney, losing last week. They look to be a typical Minute George power team, and will throw only when needing to. And Owen George, the son of Coach Minute George, is the man who will do that. Owen looks pretty good handling the football.
Owen George is a good passer also, Gary.
Pitch to Mark Lockett. Lockett streaks through a hole at the 50 towards the near sideline and is run out of bounds at the 45-yard line. I think will come up a little bit short. Schuster again forced him out. They'll mark him out at the 47, so we'll call it 3rd down and about 2 from there with 1:04 left on the clock here in the first quarter.
How quick is Lockett? He's this quick. Boom, the hole's right there. There it is, 8 yards before you can say, mark the rocket, Lockett.
When did the Ramblers go to the black helmets? Was it before the McDowell game or the Central game last year? Was it the Central
The year
game?
Before.
The year before or last year, was it? Maybe the all-black uniforms, perhaps, is what I'm thinking of. They made some uniform change right at the end of the year last year. Here comes Powell, banging straight ahead, has a first down inside the 45 and gets to the 43 as we're down under a minute to play here in the first half. Sumner, who is one of the top prospects in Western New York from his linebacker position, making the stop on the play.
St. Francis has some good, tough kids, Gary. They look about a half a step slow right now.
Down to 52 seconds and counting. Ramblers with a 15-0 lead, scoring on their first 2 possessions, and here in possession number 3 of the first half, on the move again. Lockett and Powell set behind Owen George. Here comes Powell, finding a hole inside the 40, gets 5 good yards as he gets to the 38-yard line. And from there, it will be 2nd down and 5. Tom Bestpitch, who had 15 tackles last week, came up to make the stop on Powell that time. It's tough bringing Powell down. He appears to get his head and shoulders straight ahead.
And you can see a great block in there. He's just following number 33 of the Ramblers, Ed Serafini, I believe the tight end, just running up his back and moving people as they go.
15 seconds. This should be the final play of the first quarter if the Ramblers keep it on the ground. 2nd down and 5. George to Powell. Powell hit as he gets inside the 35, stretches it close. He'll be about a yard short of a first down as we are at the end of the first quarter. The Ramblers dominating 15-0 lead at the end of 1. We'll be right back. 3rd down and 2 as we start the second quarter. George wants to throw, swings it out to Lockett. Lockett trying to elude a tackle, stretches it forward inside the 35 and is close to a first down at the 33. Peter Tulte, number 51, finally chased him down, but Lockett tried to slip out of Tulte's grasp and almost did so. Close to a first down. Let's see where they mark it.
Nice idea by Minute George, though, just wanting to get Lockett some running room. As I said, one of the premier sprinters in the state. You can see George looking right, knowing Lockett's over here. And Lockett doing a good job, Gary, of picking up enough yardage. He got a very gracious mark. You'll see where his knee hits, and then he picks up an extra yard. Going to be close to a first down. Pretty impressive with Prep right now, Gary, offensively.
Absolutely. The big guys up front are moving people out inside the tackles. Lustig and Powell are getting some running room, and when you complement that with the speed of Lockett trying to get to the outside, it's pretty good.
You know, Minnis says, well, this is one of our smaller teams, Gary, and you look, everybody on the line's like 215, 220, 225, so I guess that's small for him.
Yeah, Montevecchio, the center, is considered the smallest of that group according to the listings on the roster that we have been given. He's listed at 190, with everybody else, as Jim said, 220 for Greskevich, 230 for Walsh, 230 for Crosby, 220 for Hurdle.
Aaron Vitrin in there, I believe I saw, if I'm not mistaken.
4th down, you saw the mark come up about a half a yard short of a first down, so 4th and 1. As they mark it at the 32-yard line.
Historically, Minute George has liked his quarterback to keep it. I mean, 9 times out of 10, he'll just step up and they'll go forward.
Try to follow his center. He gives it to Powell, and the big fullback bangs for a first down at the 30.
So now the next 9 times, Owen George?
You said 9 out of 10. You didn't say 10 out of 10.
No,
you said 9
didn't.
out of 10 times, and you were correct. That was the one time that he gave it to the fullback. And Powell is a guy that will get you 2 yards inside in a hurry, which he did. The ball marked just inside the 30, and a 1st and 10 for the Ramblers. 11.5 minutes to play. Glad you could join us for our first Friday game of the week, and we're right back here tomorrow night as we'll check on Joe Buffalino's Colonels as they take on St. Mary's. George wants to throw on first down. Good protection. He's it up down the sideline for Ellis. Tries to make a great one-handed catch and can't come up with it near the pylon. Incomplete. Bestpitch covering on the play, but a nice throw by George, who put it in a good position so it wouldn't be intercepted, although Ellis had to make a great catch to come up with it.
Gary, I think you'll see Prep keep it pretty basic, though. They play an outstanding team next Friday, probably at the Erie Stadium on artificial turf.
Right.
Austintown Fitch, one of the best teams in Ohio. George with the good release lets Ellis try and run under it and a little over the wrong shoulder.
2nd down 10, just inside the 30. And George, handing off to Lockett on the delay, has some running room at the 25, at the 20, skips over the 15, at the 10, the 5. And that is where he'll go down, just short of the 5-yard line at the 6. Jim Velasquez making the stop as Lockett skipped through the defense, and boom, a burst of speed, and he almost took it the distance.
I said it before, you better be ready to defend the draw play. Lockett doing a nice job here. Really can't keep his feet, or if he'd have been going full speed, he'd have scored. But again, takes it down inside the 10-yard line. Mark Lockett, Justin Lustig, they're having a huge, huge night running behind some great blocking.
Minute George looking on, liking what he has seen so far, I would imagine. Rain pelting down. And, of course, the more St. Francis gets behind, the more the rain is in favor of the Ramblers. Owen George, quarterback keeper, turns it up inside the 5, gets to the 4. Bestpitch came up and smacked him down at the 4. It will be 2nd and goal from there.
Gary, the center for Prep is Cesar Montevecchio, and his father was one of the greatest all-around athletes in about the mid-50s for the Ramblers. A tremendous athlete.
Second down goal at the 4-yard line. The Ramblers with a couple of big games, as you mentioned, Jim, coming up. Both of them at the stadium. Austintown Fitch next Friday. And then 2 weeks from this Saturday will be Prep against Mulder, one of our televised games from the stadium. Straight ahead give to Lustig, trying to spin his way, keeps getting hit, keeps moving forward, gets about a yard to the 3. Rich Matta, one of the men who initially stopped him and allowed his teammates to finish him off. But it will set up a 3rd and goal from the 3-yard line with 10 minutes to go.
You'll see not much there. Lustig fights, but really nothing to run through. This is just a time a minute George wants to distribute the scoring. Paul has a touchdown and George has a touchdown.
Cathedral Prep will take a timeout. We'll keep it right here. 9 minutes and 44 seconds. The time left to play here in the second quarter. And 15-0. How about some first quarter stats? Let's take a look at them.
Wow, you'll see Prep with 9 first downs, St. Francis none. Rushing yards, not bad. 146 for Prep, 4 for St. Francis. No passing yards. Prep 10 passing yards. Total yards in the first quarter, 156-4. Time of possession, 8:44 to 3:16. Not surprising that Prep's leading that 15-0, or maybe only 15-0 after looking at those stats. But this, I think, you're going to see Justin Lustig get the ball. Owen George has a quarterback, or Owen George has a score, and Powell has a score.
Here's what Coach Minna George had to say about stopping this potent St. Francis offense and their quarterback going into the game tonight.
They love to put the ball up in the air, and I think anytime you're facing a passing team, they can make you look bad at any point in time. So we're going to have to get some mixed coverages, but we always got to be in a three deep cover. We got to play some 4-unders and 3-under and do some heavy blitzing on them. And we got to keep our defensive linemen fresh. We have to make sure we can rush the quarterback. If we don't do that, we're going to be in for a long
George
evening. Throwing
into the end zone for a touchdown, and that is Ed Serafini, the big tight end, number 33, who catches it in the back of the end zone. And the Ramblers, with 9:40 left here in the second quarter, tack on touchdown number 3, Jim. He was wide open again.
Owen George is gracious on this play, Gary. He can either run it in or hit the open man, and he gives it to Serafini right on the numbers. Nice pass rolling left by Owen George.
Wilcox will attempt the extra point out of the hold of Owen George as they try to tack on point number 22. Snap is a good one, and the kick is good as well. 22-0 in favor of the Ramblers. Second quarter action from Gus Anderson Field. We'll be right back.
Let me tell you what's coming to pass. Lend me your ears and let's talk about plans. Yesterday you left a bottle for the garbage man. Now it's time to start a new plan. Throwing away bottles is really a sin, cause glass recycles time and time again. Listen up now and understand. Let's recycle and save this land. Recycle. Recycle.
What it is, what it isn't. It is the arrival of the fittest, the new Toyota Tacoma. It isn't the same compact truck millions have known. It is better, better looking, with better performance. Better than Ford, Chevy, and Dodge from 0 to 60, loaded and unloaded. One more thing. It is a great time to see your Toyota dealer to get your best deal on a new Tacoma.
Gary Drapcho with Jim Lekorchik on our Game of the Week. 9 minutes, 40 seconds left in the second quarter. A game dominated by Cathedral Prep as they lead 22-0. And as we've mentioned previously, Jim, the rain does not help St. Francis in their comeback attempt, even though they're a passing team.
Not at all, Gary. They need good field position. Obviously, they need a score.
Scortizio coming down the right sideline and gets stopped at the 40-yard line. Good kick return by Chris Scortizio of St. Francis. The Red Raiders will take over 1st and 10. Now, you expect them to throw the ball in the air, but down 22-0 and raining, it's going to be a little bit tough. Here's a look at the last touchdown, Jim.
You'll see Prep, Owen George from the straight tee, basically a running formation, but he rolls left, Serafini wide open.
Just doing some stretching down there, Justin Lustig. He's been doing that between each series. And we're going to call a timeout immediately here, as apparently with Lustig on the sidelines getting worked on, there was not enough Rambler defensive players on the field, and they have to use a timeout, which with a 22-0 score leading in the game probably shouldn't hurt them too much. 9:23 to play. But we mentioned about this alignment, and one thing that St. Francis in Buffalo has run into, Jim, the public schools in Section 6, Division 1 of Western New York, has again voted not allowing the private schools to join their league. And so St. Francis, one of those private schools, and a few other ones like Canisius, have not been able to join any of the public school leagues up there because the public school leagues have simply voted not to have them. And it sounds a lot like the situation that Cathedral Prep has faced over the last couple of years.
Yeah, Gary, it's their prerogative. You know, if they want to keep you out as the public schools around, well, not around here, heaven knows where Hollidaysburg and they are, but they voted Prep out.
St. Mary's and Strong Vincent, as we will see, Joe Buffalino, probably the premier quarterback in the area as well, Mike Myotis.
Oh, we can't wait for tomorrow night to see that.
You bet. 1st and 10. And Jays with a quarterback keeper. Lots of running room, has a first down, crosses midfield into Prep territory at the 47-yard line. As Jake Jays simply followed his runner, and Rashawn Powell made the stop on the play.
You'll just see him follow his runner and is blocking right off the center in a nice running room for the quarterback before getting hit by Phil Auditory, the junior safety who came in replacing Justin Lustig, who was over on the sideline, I think, getting treated for a cramp.
Yeah, Lustig has been doing a lot of running so far as the first-team offense. 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns for the Ramblers. And I believe that's the first down by St. Francis in the game. Coming with 8 minutes and 55 seconds to play here in the second quarter. Here is Jays to Haas. Haas has some running room at the 40, trying to spin forward and does so to the 36. And another 8-yard gain for the Red Raiders of St. Francis. It'll be 2nd and 2 from the 37-yard line.
Good running room over right tackle that time, Gary, for the Red Raiders, and 2 good plays in a row. You'll see Justin Lustig, he was, well, right here. First you'll see the halfback just get the good hole and do a nice job of running before being met by a host of Prep players. But Justin Lustig being worked on by his father, Keith, one of the assistant football coaches and a leading orthopedic surgeon here in Erie.
Absolutely. Looks like we'll have some substitutes in the game the next time Prep goes on offense. They're warming up on the sidelines. Jays back to throw, down the middle, has a man, best pitch at the 20, best pitch at the 15 to the 14, and a first down. Tom, best pitch hit by Ramon Ellis, but not before he picks up a first down. A strike by Jays to best pitch, and this combination has worked before.
One-on-one coverage out there and a huge cushion for the St. Francis receiver. And Gary, for a team that's down 22-0, they look awful confident on those last 3 plays.
And you see from our ground level camera how hard it is raining here at Gus Anderson Field. And talking some of the McDowell people before the game, they have to be concerned. They had a junior high game here last week, Thursday night. They had a game, of course, last Saturday that we televised, a game tonight and a game tomorrow, and they haven't even played a game yet here, says the McDowell Trojans. Here is Hayes trying to get to the outside. Nice bit of running as he jukes his way to the 10. A flag is down on the far side of the field as Hayes is knocked out on the far side of the field.
I got a feeling this one may go against the Ramblers. I don't know why. That far away from the ball, Gary, wasn't even part of the play. I hate to see if it's a 15-yard penalty away from the ball. I really do. I don't care who it's on.
Yeah, it came from an official away from the football. 7:25 to go until halftime. And at halftime, in the rain, we'll be down there exploring the possibility of Prep and St. Francis perhaps being league mates in the future.
We got number 50, number White, blocking below the waist downfield. 15 yards this way.
A illegal block, as you heard Vinnie Merchant call out. 15-yard penalty, tough break for St. Francis, as they already have a 22-0 deficit staring them on the scoreboard. We're on the move, and now a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty pushes them back even farther.
Gary, I'm impressed with Prep's 2 sophomore linebackers, Irvin and Bowers. 2 strong, tough kids out there, and outstanding linebackers for 10th graders.
Looking at the stats from last week's Cardinal Mooney game, even though Prep lost the game 17-6, they had more first downs, more yards rushing, and more yards passing than the Cardinals of Cardinal Mooney, but the scoreboard was the only stat that counted as far as a win or a loss goes. Here comes Jays, play action fake, almost slips, avoids a tackle, rolls to his right, wants to run, gets a block, turns the corner, and is run out at the 24-yard line. as the Ramblers put some pressure on Jays, Rashawn Powell, and I'd have to think that not only did the lineman push him out of the pocket into the sideline, but some good coverage in the defensive secondary.
But Jay's showing good mobility, breaks one tackle, and he does get to the corner, Gary. There just isn't enough room. But a nice-looking quarterback for St. Francis. Very nice-looking.
As we mentioned, he attended the Penn State summer camp, as Coach was saying, and had high grades from quarterback coach of the Nittany Lions, Dick Anderson, the former coach at Rutgers. Second down 17, the out-of-bounds play stopping the clock with 7:04 to go until halftime. The wet turf here at Gus Anderson Field. And Jamie Jays, 6 foot, 165-pound junior, who started as a sophomore last year, pitches it back to Chris Sortisio, trying to go to the outside, is dragged down by Bowers from behind. Tony Bowers, the 5'9 sophomore, and you were just talking about how impressive those sophomores have been. He showed some good quickness in pursuit, getting to the outside and dropping the senior running back Chris Sortisio.
Gary, you'll see him read the play all the way, and as you said, close the gap. Bowers, although just a sophomore, benches over 300 pounds, Gary. He's been lifting for about 8 years.
I'll tell you, give the fans credit that have come out on a rainy night like this. Do I have to go out on the field at halftime?
Yep.
It is pouring.
Because it's you or me.
Here is a 3rd and 17. Jays from the shotgun. Fires down the middle and in and out of the hands of number 25, Steve Schuster. Should have caught the ball at the 5-yard line, which would have been a first down. Rashawn Powell was defending on the play, but that ball was zipped and the ball was a little bit too wet to hang on, and there was a flag thrown.
Again, Gary, put the ball right on the mark right there. That should have been caught. That's another pass St. Francis dropped. We'll see what the penalty is. They're talking with Justin Lustig, one of the Rambler captains. It's a hold.
We'll check on the call here by Vinny.
We got a holding on White. Penalty is refused. First down.
Incomplete pass. They'll take that instead of the 15-yard penalty and make it a 4th down and 17 at the 22-yard line. 6:17 to go till halftime. Prep 22. St. Francis nothing. The Ramblers have had the ball 3 times in this game. They have scored on all 3 possessions. 2-yard run by Powell. A pass from Owen George to Ed Serafini, and an Owen George 1-yard touchdown plunge. The 3 touchdowns. Tony Bowers, by the way, also caught a 2-point conversion. And they kicked 2 extra points from the foot of Eric Wilcox, accounting for the 22 points here. The Ramblers dominating St. Francis here in the early going. St. Francis needs a score here before halftime to have any chance of coming back in this game. And another flag is down. I think this one's going to be delay a game.
Delay game on White. 5 yards, still 4th down.
So from 4th and 17, we'll go 4th and 22. Tonight after the game, here we'll have picket fences at 10 o'clock. Newswatch 35 night beat.
That's my favorite.
Oh, man, the sugars are unbelievable, aren't they? And we'll have our Sports Watch show at 11:20. We'll have highlights of this game, of course, as you see the Prep faithful on hand here. Getting a little bit soggy, but hey, the guys are enjoying themselves, huh?
Yes, they are. We don't know why. It's nasty out there.
Only in high school can you come to a game pouring down rain and enjoy yourself.
Timeout on the field. I don't blame everybody.
It'll be 4th and 22 for St. Francis, and this might be their last gasp. Although there seems like a lot of time left, 6:17 to go in the second quarter. If you don't score here, and you go into the halftime locker room down 22 points or more, you certainly, as the rain continues to fall here and make the conditions even worse, have an opportunity to come back.
They did do a good job of moving the ball, Gary, but a penalty killed them right now. But they are moving the ball. They get it in and they get the second half kickoff, then we've got something to think about.
4th and 22, they need to get down to around the 5-yard line to move the sticks again. And you see Jays in the shotgun. Has lots of time, flings it for the end zone, up for grabs, and was it caught? It was caught for a touchdown in the far corner of the end zone. Number 4, Tom Bestpitch, with Matt DeRamo all over him, and simply a jump ball that Bestpitch came down with in the end zone for the touchdown with 6:10 to go here in the second quarter.
That's one of those balls that's a bit underthrown, and the receiver knows where it is, and the defender doesn't. The receiver comes back, sees it all the way, and makes the catch in front of DeRamo. Again, he's looking right all the way and throws it up for grabs, and as I said, throws it a little short. Bestpitch makes the good adjustment. Looks like they're going to go for 2, Gary.
22-6, and all of a sudden a different attitude about this game as St. Francis puts their first score on the board, and they do line up for the two-point conversion. Jamie Jay's under center. It's his third touchdown pass of the season, throwing 2 in the opening win over Frontier a week ago. And he'll play action fake, roll right, throw, caught, two-point conversion. It is best pitch again, who catches it in the corner of the end zone. So St. Francis back in the game, now 22-8 in favor of the Ramblers. We'll be right back.
Hey, look what's developing, a giant eagle. Perfect pictures. Where did you get that giant smile?
I got it at Giant Eagle.
Whoa, look at that color, look at that style.
Get it all at Giant Eagle.
7 days a week, overnight guaranteed. Twin prints or get single prints with an extra roll free. For an everyday, low price smile, come to Giant Eagle.
It takes a giant to make pictures simple. So simple for you.
Keystone Rehabilitation Systems is an independent physical therapy practice, treating sports and auto-related injuries, as well as injuries that occur at work or at home. With physical therapy, you can reach your maximum physical potential. Ask your physician about physical therapy, and once you have a prescription, choose one of Keystone's convenient locations. Let your doctor do the prescribing. You do the choosing. Choose Keystone Rehabilitation Systems.
Well, one thing that St. Francis proved, Jim Lekorchik, that despite the heavy rainfall here at Gus Anderson Field, they can still move the football through the air.
4th and 17 for a touchdown. That's not bad.
Ball is bouncing, picked up by Ramon Ellis at the 30. Comes up over the 35, and then is stopped and held up right there. That is where the Ramblers will take over 1st and 10. Lots of time still left here in the first half with 6:03 to play in the second quarter.
Gary, on this extra point, you'll see best pitch wide open because he faked inside, cut it outside, one-on-one with Ramon Ellis. He ran just a great pattern, and the quarterback put the ball where he had to.
So let's see if the Ramblers can respond. They have scored on all 3 of their first half possessions and are back at it again. Owen George takes the snap, hands it to Powell. Big hole off the right side for Powell. Gets to the 45-yard line and about a yard short of a first down. Best pitch comes up to make the stop on the play, but it's a solid 9-yard run by Rasan Powell, a 5'11", 195-pound senior.
You can see they shot the linebackers, and when he got past the line of scrimmage, he had clear running for about 7 or 8 yards. Right now, Gary, St. Francis is almost in a kamikaze-type defense. They're sending everybody. It's either going to be a turnover or a huge run.
Second down, a yard to go. Owen George takes the snap. Here comes Lustig, has a first down, breaks a tackle across midfield to the 48-yard line of St. Francis, and a stick mover. 1st and 10 as Justin Lustig picks up more. Don Donahue making the stop. Lustig, who saw a lot of playing time last year, especially in the defensive secondary and at tailback.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, Donahue doesn't stop.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
Rambling out 1st and 10 over the quarterback, makes the try, he's going to screen right to Powell.
Come on,
the ball is knocked down, and it's going to be incomplete.
I hear this thing open.
Rashad Powell was wide open. Boy, Gary, they had that screen pass really set up. Owen George could not get the ball to Powell.
Okay, we got some microphone problems. Thanks for filling in on that one play, Jim. Nice job, by the way. That's a second down and 10 situation at the 48-yard line. 4 minutes, 50 seconds to go, second quarter, and a 22-8 score in favor of the Ramblers as they try to go back at it again. Owen George brings his team out of the huddle up to the line of scrimmage, has Powell and Lustig in an I formation behind him in the backfield. Reverse to Ramon Ellis. Ellis has some running room to the outside. Oh, lots of room to run. 40, 35, 30, and is finally run out on the far side of the field at the 25-yard line by Steve Schuster, who has been the last man between a prep Rambler and a goal line about 3 or 4 times in this first half. Ramon Ellis on the reverse pitch, picking up a first down to the 25-yard line. Does your mic work yet, Jim?
How would I know?
Yeah, there you go. You do.
All right. Ramon Ellis on the reverse. Again, as you said, Gary, you'll see they fake the option, and Ellis takes the pitch, and one man to beat. Montevecchio out in front of him gets a good block, but Schuster fights it off and again saves a touchdown.
First and 10 at the 25-yard line. I knew one of these days you'd put that headset on and try it. Here's a throw up for Ellis, incomplete. Overthrew him as he was doing a fly pattern down the near side of the field. Jeff Heisinger covering on the play and covering rather well.
Gary, the Ramblers are getting one-on-one coverage with Ramon Ellis, trying to take advantage of that. But that time, the St. Francis defender all over Ellis. Good job by the Red Raider defender.
The selection of plays, very good by Coach Minna George here in the early going. He's throwing in a little pass, threw in the reverse there. He's gone deep a couple times. He's flipped a screen pass out to Lockett on another occasion. So he's mixing it up and not becoming too trendy or predictable.
Scott Furman comes in for Ellis.
Here is Lockett trying to dance his way and doesn't get out of the backfield. Dropped to the 25 by Kevin Sumner, the 6-foot, 170-pound senior who smelled that one out and dropped Lockett back at the 25-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 10 from there.
Gary, the play that was really there earlier was a great play by the St. Francis lineman who kept the screen pass from being completed, or that would have been a huge gainer. Powell, they had him all alone with about 4 blockers.
3rd down and 10. 4 minutes to go, first half. Ramblers on top by a couple of touchdowns, 22-8. And George off the play-action pitch, back to throw, fires down the middle, incomplete. A flag goes down. Tom Bestpitch was covering on the play. Number 41, Jeff Van Valkenburg, was the intended receiver at the 20-yard line, but let's check out the flag.
That's broken up, but there's a flag on the play.
Looked like pretty good pass defense out there. But the officials coming in, I don't know if he had a hold or what. It definitely wasn't interference on the catch. St. Francis coach not real happy right now. I kind of don't blame him.
Vinny certainly taking his time making these calls. There's no question about it. If they are throwing flags, you'd think they'd be a little bit more decisive about what they're calling.
That's a shame.
They seem to be totally confused. Was there a flag or wasn't there a flag?
Yeah, there was a flag.
We got a holding on White, 10-yard penalty, 4th down.
That a boy, Vinny.
And Gary, maybe the hold was there. It's just that you're looking for a team trying to fight their way back. To the bottom of the screen, they had a hold. George looking for Van Valkenburg. Good defense there, and the hold was to the left of the screen. 3rd down and 1.
10-yard penalty marked off. Comes up about a yard short. There you see the distance needed for the Ramblers to keep it going, and they'll have 2 cracks at doing it. 3 minutes and 54 seconds, the time left here in the first half. 22-8 score in favor of the Ramblers.
That's very disheartening when you're on the road.
Owen George, quarterback sneak. They stop him. They stand him up. Whether he got that yard or not will depend upon the spot of the football. And he appeared off the initial surge to have gotten the first down. Let's see where Vinny and the gang mark it.
Prep likes that quarterback sneak, Gary. 8 more times. We'll give him 9 out of 10.
Oh, I knew Vinny was going to call for the sticks. I just knew Vinny was going to call for the sticks.
You can see George get good penetration, then the defensive team knock him backwards. But St. Francis, you got to give them credit. They're hanging tough. They came up with a couple big plays, including a touchdown pass on 4th and 17. Going to be 4th and inches.
And all of a sudden a big play for this Red Raiders defense, because if they can stop the Ramblers, they still have about 3.5 minutes to go before halftime, and a chance with Jeff Jays throwing the football all over the yard to come back and try to score again. And the Ramblers, if they can pick up this 4th down, can be close to scoring their 4th touchdown of the half, maybe taking a 3-touchdown lead by halftime. So a big 4th and 1 play, less than a yard, inches in fact, from just inside the 15-yard line.
And St. Francis gets the second half kickoff.
George takes the snap. Hands it to Powell. Powell is stood up as a line of scrimmage, and this was going to be close. The leather was cracking as Rasan Powell hit the line of scrimmage. And depending again on the mark of the football, we will see if Powell had enough forward momentum to get the half a yard needed for a first down.
You make the call, Gary.
I think if he marks it there, it is not a first down. I think they held him.
And they deserve to hold him, I'll tell you that much. Yes, they did. How about that? 2 downs on less than a yard. Wow. Prep unable to make it. That's a great job by the St. Francis defense, and after that penalty, I was kind of pulling for him.
So St. Francis showing some character. They had a 4th and 17 and threw a touchdown pass. And then 3rd and short, and we're able to stop the Ramblers twice from getting the necessary half a yard for the first down. So 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line for St. Francis. They have 3 minutes and 41 seconds left on the clock here in the first half.
And they got big play capability, Gary.
Jamie Jays sending a man in motion. That is Beswich. But they give it to Hayes. And Hayes tries to get to the outside, finds the running room rather sparse, and is knocked down after only about a yard gain to the 16-yard line, 2nd and 9. And a flag down again. Here we go.
Officials discussing it. It's by the official near the St. Francis coach. So he either bought a call or...
On Black! Unsportsmanlike conduct!
An unsportsmanlike conduct call against Black, meaning, of course, Cathedral Prep. And the 15-yard penalty not only gives St. Francis a first down, Jim, but really moves them out of the hole. They move it from the 15 all the way out to about the 32-yard line.
Sure, now instead of thinking of just killing the clock, they're thinking of trying to get the ball down for a score. Also take some of the heat off the officials.
At the 32-yard line, 1st and 10. 22-8 in favor of the Ramblers, but all of a sudden a switch of momentum, and the rain, it looks like it is just about stopped. Jay's play-action fake. Looks to throw, has some pressure, gets out of one tackle, they finally sack him, tried to get the ball off, but I think he was down. It will go as a sack.
Be nice if somebody signaled, though. They just moved the ball where he threw it to, Gary.
It looked like number 41.
You'll see him
Jeff
go back. He
Valkenburg.
avoids the first sack. Then he goes down there and he just flips it up a few yards, and that's where they marked it.
There's
Nobody
Jack
ever gave a signal.
Jack Sack, number 24, nearly sacked him.
See, he was sacked, Gary, on about the, 27-yard line, and he threw it up to about the 30, and that's where they marked it after nobody gave a signal. So I don't know if that was a fumble or what.
Apparently that's what it is, because the clock continues to roll as well, Jim. Under 2.5 minutes to play, and Jays goes back into back into shotgun formation. It's 2nd down and 17. Back to throw, and has his arm hit as he's going down. They call it an incomplete pass. Close to being a fumble. Apparently
call it right away is what I'm saying. If it probably was an incompleted pass, but when you don't hear a whistle for 2 or 3 seconds, I really thought he was trying to hold on to the ball. Great replay right here. Apparently threw the ball, and now the whistle just blew.
Real close. But they do call it incomplete. And at the 25, 3rd down and 17, incomplete pass stops it with 2 minutes and 15 seconds to go until halftime.
3rd and 17, Gary. If they scored on 4th and 17, right?
You're right. Down and around the 22-yard line. Jays goes back to throw, looking, firing down the middle, overthrows. Best pitch is intended receiver near midfield, Ramon Ellis, and some other secondary men covering on the play for the Ramblers. That time he was well covered and had to overthrow it to avoid the interception.
He had to be well covered, Gary. I think somebody ran the wrong pattern because they had 2 receivers down there and about 6 black jerseys they brought into the middle of the field. So the Ramblers will still have time, Gary, with any kind of punt return at all.
You're listening to the Game of the Week here on WSEE TV in Erie, Pennsylvania, as we welcome perhaps some of you who are watching from Western New York to see this Buffalo St. Francis team. 4th down, 17, and with 2:10 left here in the first half, they go back into punt formation. Scortisio standing back at his 15-yard line. Good snap, nearly blocked, gets the punt away. Coming up for it is Lustig at midfield. At the 45, avoids a tackle, and the pursuit tries to catch up with him and manage to get a couple of more yards out of it to the 43-yard line. And the Ramblers will take over with just under 2 minutes remaining here in the first half, but they will take over in St. Francis territory. And what are you thinking at this point? Quick strike?
Oh, absolutely, Gary. I think they might want to try that screen left again to the fullback Powell. St. Francis didn't show they had a defense. They only knocked the pass down.
Ramblers quickly out of the huddle as the clock begins to roll on the mark of the football. Down under 1:50. Owen George with the pitch to Lustig. Looking for running room off the right side. Almost is stripped as he is knocked out of the 41 for a gain of 2. Rich Matta making the stop for St. Francis, and the Ramblers quickly huddle. It will be 2nd down and 8 at the 42-yard line.
This has never been one of Prep's strong suits, Gary, the hurry-up offense. You can see already they've wasted about 10 seconds. They're just kind of standing around the huddle. It's 2nd down and 8 after running off right tackle. They walk up to the line of scrimmage, It's just they don't run it real well. They do take their time. I got to give them credit.
George with the pitch to Lockett. Lockett running over the right side, trying to cut loose into the secondary. Breaks loose at the 35, at the 30, and nearly breaks it as he's finally dropped at the 28-yard line. Mark Lockett almost showing the speed that can be termed a game-breaking speed. Jimmy almost broke one off big time.
He hurt his ankle on this. You'll see him take it to the right. And when he comes back to cross the field, I thought he was going to go all the way, but a great play by the St. Francis defender as Lockett may have hurt his ankle on that play. Again, Gary, you'll see the Ramblers just kind of standing around their huddle.
Steve Schuster again making what probably was a touchdown-saving tackle on Mark Lockett, who's being attended to now on the sidelines.
Why is the clock stopped?
Now Vinny will restart it once the injured player came off the field, I think. Jim, under a minute to play.
Gary, they had all that time, and now with 1:03, the clock was stopped.
Yeah,
now you'll see it's another 10 seconds.
Nearly 15 by the time they get the snap off.
Yeah.
Now one Rambler player comes running off the field. Apparently they had too many players on offense, and George will go straight back to pass. Looking to throw, firing for Ellis near the 5, in and out of his hands at the 2-yard line. It was nearly broken up by Best Pitch, or Scortizio, and then almost caught behind him by Ramon Ellis.
That would have been a very tough catch. Scortizio did get his hand on the ball, kind of disrupted Ellis's vision, deflected the ball. That was almost an impossible catch.
Wow. It would have been a dandy had he been able to hold on to the football.
2nd down and 10. Mark Lockett, they're looking at, I believe, his right ankle on the sideline, and that would be a huge loss for the Ramblers.
Yeah, we'll check on that at halftime. Ellis, by the way, catching 5 balls last week against Cardinal Mooney, and the Ramblers only completed 6 passes. And George goes back to throw, looking again. Now he's being flushed out of the pocket, comes forward, coughs up the football. It's loose on the ground near the 30, and let's see who jumps on it as the clock continues to roll, and they give it to the Ramblers. And from there, it will be 3rd down and about 12 as they lost 2 out of that whole play, down to 15 seconds remaining.
Prep doesn't have a high-powered passing attack, Gary, where you can get a lot of people open. Right now, they're just literally running out the first half. They just used up 30 seconds before they called it time. This is almost a prototype of what I said when they first got the ball. They just don't really have a concept in their hurry-up offense.
5 seconds remaining when Minna George called the timeout, and so he'll have one last shot at the end zone. It'll be officially 3rd and 12 from the 30-yard line, but with only 5 seconds left, time for only one more play. Again, we'll be talking to the new headmaster at Cathedral Prep, Father Allison, at halftime, and we'll also be talking to athletic director Ron Sertz about the new league with Buffalo St. Francis. St. Mary's coming to town against Strong Vincent, and you can see that game Saturday live right here on Channel 35. Usually our Saturday games start at 6. A reminder, it begins at 8 tomorrow night because of the Super Saturday in the U.S. tennis. Flushing Meadows, New York, the women's final between Steffi Graf and Monica Seles, and then the men's semifinals, which should be good as well, with the likes of Andre Agassi, Pete Sampras, Boris Becker, and Jim Courier, the 4 semifinalists for the United States Open Tennis Championship on the men's side. Okay, here we go. 3rd and 11, 5 seconds to play. A reverse to Ellis. It looks like he wants to throw. He does. He throws back, intended for George. George catches it at the 15-yard line, but time will expire, and that is the end of the first half. Jeff Heisinger was all over George, and George made a nice catch on the play.
Made a great catch, Gary. If they had any time left, there would have been something else. That you got to throw into the end zone. And that's another play, Gary, when the team is looking for a pass. They had it well defense. Ramon Ellis threw a nice ball. Owen George makes a great catch. But just they ran out of time, and as I said, their clock management, Gary, was just terrible in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, we've run out of time here in the first half as well. 22-8 in favor of the Ramblers of Cathedral Prep. We'll be back with our halftime activities in just one moment. Stay with us here at Gus Anderson Field.
A new name comes to Street Track and Trail in Conneaut Lake, and that name is Nissan. Nissan gives you a lot of great reasons to consider us for your next vehicle. Reasons like Nissan trucks, Quest minivans, Maxima, Altima, and Sentra sedans, and Pathfinders. And we're making Nissan the best buy in the tri-state region by giving you a variety of purchase plans to fit your needs. Watch for our weekly specials in the Erie Times, Meadville Tribune, and Venango papers. Nissan and Street Track and Trail. You'll like the combination.
More than 200,000 Catholics of all ages in the Erie Diocese benefit directly from religious education. Annually, the Catholic Education Collection helps support elementary and high school programs provided by parishes throughout the 13 counties of northwestern Pennsylvania. The collection provides for materials, teacher-student retreats and workshops, and adult education programs. This year, reaffirm your commitment to our young people's spiritual growth. Support the Catholic Education Collection and tomorrow's leaders with your generous contribution.
Welcome back, everybody, to Gus Anderson Field. The rain has let up. The St. Francis Buffalo team has a bit of a comeback. They were down 22-0. They put a drive together, scored on 4th and 17 to make it 22-8. Prep had a chance to score late in the first half, but unable to come up with any major big play to get into the end zone. The half ended when Ramon Ellis on the flanker around threw to quarterback Owen George down to the 15-yard line. The clock running out for the Ramblers, but the Ramblers with a very, very impressive ground attack. They may have 150, 200 yards rushing already. They have 234 yards rushing at the half. But I'll tell you what, St. Francis very confident the end of the first half. They were down 22-0. They moved the ball down, overcame a big penalty, and got the ball in the end zone, plus the 2-point conversion to cut it to 22-8. So we're going to turn it over now to my good friend and pal right down there in the dry weather, Gary Drapcho.
Thank you very much, Jim LaCorgic. It's not too bad down here. As a matter of fact, it's lit up a little bit, although who am I to talk? I've only been down here for about 30 seconds. We have as our halftime guest Father Allison, the new headmaster at Cathedral Prep, who took over the job in July. And I understand you attended Cathedral Prep, and you're only the second headmaster that has been an alumni of Cathedral Prep. So that's got to be pretty exciting for you.
Yes, it is, Gary. I'm really excited to be back at Prep after many years, right.
And tell me, after being away for many years and coming back in the capacity that you're coming back, Father, what is it like? What have you seen change? What have you seen good?
Well, I see a lot that's the same strong tradition, the commitment to excellence, but of course a lot of things are new. The technology has changed. The youngsters, I think, are even more active than before, more involved in so many activities, and we're glad to provide them at Cathedral Prep. This is our 75th year, you may know. Prep opened in September of 1921, so this is a big year for us. We've had a long tradition of excellence, and I'm glad to be part of it and to try to continue it.
Father, we've talked a lot on these kind of broadcasts about how much sports and athletics and the discipline and practicing that goes along with it can help young athletes and young kids the ages of 15, 16, 17, and 18 years old. And Cathedral Prep has always held that in great esteem.
Oh, I think so. Athletics is very important at Prep, but it's only one part of the equation. And we're proud of the many other aspects of Prep, the academics, the many extracurricular activities. I'm thrilled, and I'm impressed especially by the hard work that the kids put in on all of these things. And the faculty and staff, too, they're really dedicated.
Well, I'm sure you are, too. Well, congratulations on your position. Good luck in the future, and I think your Ramblers have things pretty much in control tonight.
It's looking good, but these are two good teams, and it's going to be a good second half, I think, yeah.
The new headmaster at Cathedral Prep, Father Allison, thank you very much for joining us here at halftime. The Ramblers have a 22-8 lead at the half, and we'll be back with more of our halftime activities from a rainy but not too bad Gus Anderson Field in just a moment. Stay with us.
What makes the New Holland Super Boom so tough? Everything. See your New Holland dealer today and put the toughest skid steer loader on the market to work for you.
Cathedral Sales and Service, your New Holland dealer, Route 97, Union City.
University of Pennsylvania.
The halftime report featuring the Academic League team is brought to you by Giant Eagle. It takes a giant to make life simple.
Coming up now.
Welcome here back to Gus Anderson Field, where a part of our halftime activities each and every game of the week will be the Sports Academic League. Kathy DeSanti, you get to do the honors this week and give me a little bit of break. Here you go, Kathy. Take over.
Thank you very much. As you know, Gary, this is the second year for the Academic Sports League, and it's sponsored by the Erie School District. This year, we're hoping to have almost close to 15 teams involved in the league, and the league is open to all students grades 9 through 12, and no matter what their grade point average is. This evening, I have guests from Cathedral Prep High School. With me is Mrs. Joan Mullen. She is the principal.
Thank you, Kathy. We're very happy to be a part of this Academic Sports League. It gives our students, regardless of the academic grade level, a chance to participate in a team competition and also to exercise their brains. This evening we have with us here Sister James Frances Mulligan, who is the coach and coordinator of our league. At this time, I would like to turn the program over to Sister, who has some of her students with her this evening. Sister?
Thank you, Joan. I'm happy to present Jonathan Pettinato, who is going to be a neophyte this year in the program, and Henry Goodman, who is a veteran who came home last year with several medals, and maybe you'd like to say something about it.
Okay. Well, so far we've had a pretty good year. Last year was pretty good, Academic Sports League. Last year we won 14 medals. We were doing pretty good last year, but we expect to be doing a lot better this year because we're expecting to have a lot more participation, and we're having a lot more people involved, and thanks.
How many medals did you win, Henry?
I won 6 medals last year. The total team won 14 medals altogether in the 3 events altogether.
Okay. Thank you very much, Henry.
Okay, thank you. And you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm John Fednato, and this is my first year at Academic Sports League. And Sister James Frances recruited me to do this, and she really emphasized the fact that this was going to be a real unifying element in the community of Erie, and it was really an eclectic organization. It really draws from all different kinds of students and principals and things like that, things of that nature.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming this evening. Now we'd like to go to the Academic Sports League promotion. Thank you.
We're in a league of our own.
It's a great learning experience.
And we're making
lots of new friends. Come on, we're having fun.
Score big in the game of life. Join your school's Academic Sports League.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good evening, I'm Drew Sugars of Newswatch 35. Remember to join my wife, Narissa, and me at 11 on the Night Beat. Here are some of the stories the Night Beat crew is working on. Judge Lance Ito has agreed to obey a higher court ruling that criticizes handling of Mark Furman. We'll have all the details of today's big ruling and our exclusive interview with a Crawford County man who is heading out to California as the prosecution's newest weapon. Congressman Phil English has taken a lot of heat this week from labor leaders, but the North Coast congressman meets with his constituents tonight to talk health care. And could this 7-year-old Canadian boy be the reincarnation of an ancient Tibetan holy man? The Dalai Lama says yes. We'll explain why. Now, with the rain coming in, you won't want to miss Evan Eldridge's forecast. Of course, Gary Drapshow and crew have highlights of all the high school football action and the extended sports watch, along with the Cleveland Indians' possible clinch of their first playoff appearance in 4 decades. Join Marissa and me on the Night Beat. Now back to Gus Anderson Field for Gary Drapshow and Jim Lekorchik in the Channel 35 Game of the Week.
Thank you, Drew. Back here at Gus Anderson Field, where the Ramblers have a 22-8 halftime lead. Joining me, Ron Searce, the athletic director at Cathedral Prep, and Father Brad, the assistant principal at St. Francis. And we're going to talk about the possible affiliation that these schools are trying to develop in the future.
Well, Gary, we find with some of the scheduling problems that we've had and some of the situations with the public schools that we've been looking a little bit east to see what kind of relationships we can develop. And we find that there's an awful lot of terrific schools in the Buffalo area area, a lot of private schools, Catholic schools that are very similar in scope to what Cathedral Prep is. And as we've begun to participate with those schools in different sports, we find that they've got terrific kids, terrific faculty, and we're hoping that this is the start of something that we can join them perhaps in an affiliation or a conference of some sort, and that's why we asked them to come in, and so far it's been a good game, although the rain sort of hurt the passing attack a little bit of St. Francis.
Well, now it stopped raining, so don't say that too loud. Father Brad, I know that the Section 1 or the Section 6 Division 1 up there didn't allow private schools into their leagues, and so you're basically in the same situation, looking for some games.
Well, we certainly are. I mean, we do play a number of public schools, but we kind of play them on a friendly basis. We're not allowed to go into any championships or to really get into any leagues with them. And you're right. Right now, the Catholic schools up there are looking for competition, especially as the number of schools decrease.
And I guess the obvious question is, is this thing happening in the next 5 years, or what's the timetable? Is there any timetable?
Well, we haven't established a timetable. I had the good fortune of going up to Buffalo this past summer and talking with the athletic directors, and I think we're starting slow and developing relationships in all of our sports. It's certainly not just a football situation, and I found them to be very friendly and very willing to get together, and we're hoping that it might be quicker than that. We hope within the next year or two that we'll be playing at least the top 4 schools up there in football and have the same kind of friendly competition that you see out on the field here tonight.
All right, Ron, thank you very much. Father Brad, thank you for joining us. Good luck to both schools in the second half, although we're from Erie, Father Brad, so we have to kind of slant our way. And LaCourchik's up there, and he's a prep grad, so I can't control him, though.
Well, your reputation certainly gets into the Buffalo area, let me tell you.
That's good. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We'll be right back with more of the halftime activities, the second half kickoff. When we return, the Ramblers have a 22-8 lead at halftime.
Sandwich!
Taco Bell introduces the Texas Taco Sandwich. Oven-baked flatbread with chicken or beef and a tangy southwestern sauce. Starting at 99 cents. It tastes so big, it ought to be outlawed. Yummy.
Are you tired of getting jammed in Peach Street traffic? Come over to Bob Ferrando 4 World, only 6 minutes from Mill Creek on Route 20, where the traffic flows free and easy. At Bob Ferrando, you won't find Peach Jam, but what you will find is the largest selection of new and pre-owned cars and trucks at the lowest guaranteed prices. Bob Ferrando 4 World, the lowest prices, the best selection, and no Peach Jam.
Tired of watching your weight? If you had a GMC Safari, you wouldn't have to. Safari tows up to 5,500 pounds. Plus, Safari gives you a driver's side airbag, available seating for 8, and standard 4-wheel anti-lock brakes. So if you'd like to put on a few pounds unnoticed, get a GMC Safari. Because when it comes to towing, we're the experts.
See your local All-American GMC truck team dealer today.
Hammett Sports Medicine presents Training Room Tips.
Strength is defined as the ability to produce and withstand force. No matter what sport you play, strength is vital to your performance. Use the overload principle in your workouts. Strength training builds muscle size and power. Your strength training will pay off in injury prevention and reduce fatigue. I'm Bob Deppen for Hammett Sports Medicine.
Kickoff is brought to you by Taco Bell. Make a run. Eric Rapcho along with Jim LaCourchik. The Ramblers set to open things up here in the second half, Jim, and a 22-8 lead. Things pretty much went their own way, although they had some of the momentum taken away from them late in that first half.
Well, good things for St. Francis. At the end of the second quarter, they proved they could move the ball. They proved that they could stop Prep. They stopped them twice. St. Francis gets the ball. If they score in the second half kickoff, now all of a sudden the Ramblers have lost the momentum. They've got to make some big plays offensively. And if St. Francis takes their running attack away, there's no telling what's going to happen. The halftime stats, though, heavily favored Prep. the rushing attack was incredible. But Prep's going to have to do something with the second half on defense.
By the way, we had a halftime score. Youngstown Ursuline leading McDowell 7-3. As the Trojans will be coming back here and opening up their home season on Friday night.
You can see the stats, Gary. St. Francis didn't have any first downs. The first quarter, Prep had 9, so it was 5-4. Prep 14-4 overall. Rushing yards, huge, 234-24. Passing for the Red Raiders, 51-28 total, 262-75. Time of possession, 15-44, 8-16. But all the good things St. Francis did in the first half was at the end of the first half, so they have some momentum.
And they will receive the second half kickoff, as you mentioned. So the Ramblers, with a 22-8 lead, will be kicking off here to start the second half. Chris Torcicio, the deepest of 3 men. Great kick by Spree. And it is taken by Scorticio at the 15-yard line. And here comes a fake reverse. Still has it at the 20, at the 25, at the 30, at the 35, down the far sideline. Finally pushed out across the 45 near midfield. So they threw a little razzle-dazzle at the Ramblers right away, and we'll get good field position out of it to start the second half.
They threw a little razzle-dazzle, and they also threw a great block at the end of that, I believe, number 4 for St. Francis. You'll see right here the fake reverse. The Ramblers bid on it. He goes right. Nice fake handoff. Everybody else goes left. DeRamo did hold his territory. Ford did give him a good block, but DeRamo made the containment, so he did his job.
So here's quarterback Jamie Jays with new life, 22-18, running the option play, follows his fullback straight up the middle, and they cross midfield. They'll give him forward progress to the 49-yard line of Cathedral Prep and a gain of about 4 yards of the play, so second down and 6 from there.
Gary, how was the weather down there? It's tough to judge from up here. Did it stop raining?
It stopped raining completely when I got down there, Jim. There is no rain, absolutely, and it's relatively mild, a little chill in the air. The field is wet. Obviously, I couldn't run out in the middle of the field and see what the conditions were like at the 50-yard line, but from where I was standing, the conditions still seem to be holding up pretty good.
All right.
Second down, 6, 49-yard line. That's Bestwick in motion. Hands the ball to Hayes, and Josh Hayes, trying to work his way off the left side, is stood up at the 47-yard line after only a gain of 2. It'll set up third down and 5. Brian Bates, the big 6'3", 270-pound senior right defensive tackle of the Ramblers, is the first man to meet him.
The sophomore linebacker Bowers turned the play in, and then the sophomore linebacker Irvin helping out with the big boy, bringing down the St. Francis runner. Right now, though, I think you got to watch Best Pitch, who on that two-point conversion ran a precise pattern. I would think on 3rd and 4, that's the man they'll go to. Number 4, Best Pitch.
Best Pitch and Steve Schuster are both split out to the bottom of your screen on 3rd down and 5 with just under 10.5 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Jay's play-action phase, looks to throw, pumps once, now fires down the middle, has Schuster wide open inside the 30 for a first down at the 28-yard line. Steve Schuster with the catch, Justin Lustig making the tackle, but it's a first down for the Red Raiders.
There's a Red Raider, good pass blocking. Jay's had all day in the pocket. You'll see the Prep defense with a big cushion all day, he looks. The receiver opens up, Lustig with the big hit, but far too late. Again, you'll see great pass protection, all the time he needs. There's the cushion. Once he finds the soft area, Jays hits you. This is going to be an exciting second half, Gary.
I can see why they're so highly rating quarterback Jamie Jays and why he received high marks at Penn State's football camp this past summer. 1st and 10 at the 28. Here comes Corticio trying to get to the outside. Nice tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Number 24, Jack Sack, going behind the line of scrimmage and cutting the feet out from under the runner at a loss of maybe about a half a yard on the play. We'll call it 2nd down and 10.
Well, I'll tell you, that play looked like it was good for at least 7 or 8 yards if Sack does not make the play. Fought off the blocker and cut the legs out from the St. Francis runner.
My favorite name of the season so far, Jack Sack, 6 foot, 180-pound senior linebacker in that Ramblers defense.
You'll see he's out there all by himself, and he makes the play.
2nd down and 10, 9 minutes, 35 seconds, third quarter. Ramblers had a 22-0 lead. It's now 22-8, and St. Francis is threatening. Quick one out to Bestwick. Has some room to work with. 35-30, close to a first down. Flag goes down late at the 17-yard line. Matt DeRamo and Tony Bowers combined to make the tackle. But let's see if they caught somebody with a face mask.
I'll tell you what, Gary, we talked about at the end of the first quarter. This is a very confident St. Francis offense right now. Took them a little while to get a feel for the game, but they're moving the ball at will, especially throwing it. It has opened up their running attack also.
Face mask penalty, you call Vinnie Merchant, or you see Vinnie Merchant making the call, and that is going to move the football all the way inside the 10-yard line to the 8, and from there, first down, goal to go for St. Francis, and a big defensive stand coming up here for the Ramblers.
Gary, Jays is just coming out and taking what the prep defense is giving them.
Anytime you have a throwing quarterback and good receivers, and it appears St. Francis has that combination, you are not out of a ball game. Snap, quick pitch to Scortesio, trying to get to the outside, tries to cut it back in, and is met head-on by the Rambler defense.
Who made the play out there again? Jack, Sack, Gary? Somebody took on a blocker and took on the runner.
I think it might have been either Rasan Powell or Justin Lustig, but somebody just met him straight on if we could get another look at it.
That's a play that looks like it's there, doesn't it? But it just, he never turns the corner.
Word from Youngstown Ursuline that the McDowell Trojans losing there by a 14-3 score. Here's a look at it again.
There's the pitch, and the prep defender, I think, is Powell, as you said, Gary, comes right up.
Second down, goal to go at the 8. Back to live action here from Gus Anderson Field. Quick drop, throws it out, incomplete. Best pitch, the intended receiver. The ball was short of him at the 5-yard line, and it's third and goal. Ed Serafini out defending on the play.
That prep linebacker had real good position there. I think if he had put the ball up a little higher, Serafini may have picked it, but third down and 8, obviously St. Francis with 2 opportunities to get the ball in the end zone. When you can pass the ball, you really have to like your chances a lot better. I look for him maybe to move out of the pocket a little and put some pressure on the prep defense.
8 minutes, 27 seconds to go, third quarter. The Ramblers lead 22-8, third and goal, big play here. Best pitch. Swings it out. Scortesio with the catch, and down he goes immediately at the 5-yard line in the grasp of Ed Serafini, number 33 of the Ramblers. Big time play there. Fourth and goal, St. Francis at the 5.
Where's my man Best Pitch, Gary, that I've been touting after that 2-point conversion and getting wide open? You can see right here, Serafini had this read all the way. Lustig coming up to help also.
Sortizio, the ball catcher that time, trying to sneak him out of the backfield. Under 8 minutes to play, third quarter, and a big fourth and goal from the 5-yard line play coming up.
They better hurry up.
Jamie Jay's under center, taking his time. Takes the snap, rolls right, 3 receivers to the right, fires in the end zone. Was it caught? Yes, touchdown, St. Francis. The second time on fourth down, they have been able to throw the ball in the end zone and make the catch. Ramon Ellis was back there, but he fired a laser into the end zone, and it's a touchdown for the Red Raiders.
You can see right here that the prep defenders are behind the St. Francis receivers, which isn't any good when you're defending Kahi Road or whatever's over there. You got to be in front of them, Gary. They just flooded an area. That man opened up, and honestly, Ramon Ellis, I think, ran over from his man to get Best Pitch.
Best Pitch with the reception for the touchdown, and now St. Francis trailing 22-14 and 7:38 left on the clock here in the third quarter. We'll go for 2.
This really turns the game around if they convert, Gary.
3 wide receivers to the right of quarterback Jamie Jays, who has now thrown 2 touchdown passes in the game. Looks, has time, fires, and it's caught by Best Pitch for the 2-point conversion. There was a flag down on the play. Hold it. There was a flag down on the play. Let's see if the 2-point conversion will count.
You'll see Prep's putting absolutely no pressure on the St. Francis quarterback and also not getting near the receivers. But the penalty against Prep, probably holding out there. I don't know who they were holding. The receiver was wide open.
It is declined, and so the 2-point conversion will count. 22-16 the score. The Ramblers still have the lead. We'll be right back from Gus Anderson Field in just a moment.
Indiana University of Pennsylvania is big enough to provide the best and small enough to make you feel at home. IUP has the academic resources of a doctoral university and the learning environment of a small liberal arts college. It offers academic programs in over 100 fields, along with one of the state's largest intern programs. And IUP has been recognized as one of the 5 safest campus environments in America. IUP, the smallest big university in Pennsylvania.
The sports section. The nation's leader in youth sports photography. The sports section. Unique, creative, and collectible. The sports Make section. Your team's season truly memorable. Call Scott Kuhn at 825-8344. The sports section.
You'll see this is for the two-point conversion. Again, plenty of time, and the defender just works his way loose, and no coverage there, Gary.
Yeah, great pass, too, by Jays as he threw it over the head of Lustig. It's right into the receiver's hand. Here is Ramon Ellis picking up the football at the 25, comes up over the 30, and then is smacked down at the 32, where Prep will take over 1st and 10. At one point leading 22-0. A late first-half touchdown by St. Francis made it 22-8 at the half, and then they have scored here to receive the opening kickoff of the second half, and all the momentum in the world now in favor of the St. Francis squad.
Yeah, Prep's going to have to make some changes offensively and defensively. Defensively in particular, they're not near the pass receivers, and they're putting absolutely no pressure on the outstanding quarterback.
Owen George turns, hands the ball to Lustig, and Lustig has his feet knocked out from under him as he gets to the line of scrimmage, maybe stretches forward for a yard. Rich Matta, the 6', 205-pound senior, knifing in to tackle Lustig after a gain of only a yard.
And again, St. Francis shooting all the linebackers, Gary, playing run all the way. This is the type of defense that gives Prep trouble. If they don't break one, they will not have a sustained march against this defense.
2nd down 9, 6:50 to go, 3rd quarter. High formation. Lustig, the tailback, receives the pitch, has some running room, gets a good block, crosses the 40, and then is knocked out of bounds on the Prep side of the field near the Ramblers bench at the 45-yard line, but it's a first down. Steve Schuster knocked it out, but it's a good pickup by Lustig of 10 yards and a first down at the 45-yard line of the Ramblers, and they needed to move the sticks and get something going offensively.
Yeah, you really didn't think at the start of the game you'd be saying that Prep would have a big offensive series in the 3rd period, but this is one. Mark Lockett, who was probably averaging 10 yards a carry in the first half, still on the sideline and limping, I think, on a bad ankle.
Here is a fumble off the snap. A flag is thrown into the pile as the scramble for the loose ball takes place at the line of scrimmage, the 45-yard line. I think the Ramblers get it back, but let's check out the flag.
Real late flag coming in there. First, I want to see who has the ball. St. Francis thinks they have it. The officials have really just opted to let everybody lay there, I guess.
Maybe the officials are asking the players who had the ball.
Yeah, come on now, don't lie to us.
Here comes
Catholic schools.
Holding call against the Ramblers. That is declined because the fumble was recovered by St. Francis.
Yep.
And they have the football at the 45-yard line of Cathedral Prep with 6 minutes and 36 seconds to play here in the 3rd quarter.
And you can just see the enthusiasm on the St. Francis sideline while the Prep defense walks out in the field. The offense walks off. Gary, it turned at the end of the first half, and the momentum solely on the side of the Red Raiders. Again, I think Prep unable to get the snap right here. The exchange was fumbled. Owen George turned around, did not have the ball.
So here is St. Francis from the 45-yard line, 1st and 10. They trail 22-16. Jays back to throw, looking, firing, and he tried to slip it in there, but it was batted away, incomplete. Nicely done by Ramon Ellis, who was covering on the play and dove in front of the intended receiver. And another player down. It looks like number 22, Rasan Powell, is limping in the backfield, and that would be another huge loss, joining Lockett on the sideline.
I'll tell you, if this was at the stadium on artificial turf, all the opponents would be crying, oh, there's another guy hurt. Right. Well, these guys are getting hurt on grass because it's a football game. Now, Powell came off. Did anybody go in?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yes, 11 guys in there. I believe number 2, Matt DeRamo. No, he's been in there too.
Right.
3rd down, 2nd down and 10. Here's Corticio spinning away, but can't get out of the grasp of number 28.
Nice
for the
defensive
Ramblers.
job in there by Philip Auditory.
Right.
Just a junior coming in. He's the man that replaced Rashawn Powell. You can see Auditory makes the tackle, and if he doesn't make the tackle, that Red Raider's out to the right sideline with some clear running.
5 minutes, 50 seconds to go, 3rd quarter. Ramblers clinging to a 22-16 lead. And a big 3rd down here for Jamie Jays and the Red Raider offense from the 42-yard line. 3rd down and 7.
Prep's had a terrible time defending 3rd down.
Jays with the option. Tries to keep it himself, turns it upfield. He's inside the 40, going for the sticks, trying to dive for the sticks on the far side of the field at the 35. Ramon Ellis knocked him out, but let's see if they give him the dive which would have given him the first down.
Boy, somebody doing a nice job of play calling for Buffalo St. Francis. You can see right now on 3rd and 7, Prep looking pass. Jay just takes it on a straight rollout and dives for the stake. Comes up, I think, with the first down, Gary.
Gave him the first down at the 35. Under 5.5 minutes to play, third quarter. Glad you could join us for our game of the week. A reminder that because of contractual arrangements, we'll be joining picket fences at 10 o'clock.
Minute George working on the official. He wants a holding call.
One of the more animated coaches you will ever see, Minute George. He does not let up. He's into the game from start to finish and sometimes beyond. Here's a give to Schuster. Check that. Hayes, Josh Hayes, running hard inside to the 30 and gets 5 yards on a 2nd down and 5.
Well, I'll tell you, you got to give credit to the St. Francis team. They're down 22-0 on the road. They've had no offense at all. Boom, don't they come back, make it 22-8, hold Prep late in the first half, score on their first possession, and recover a fumble. Momentum solely on the side of the Red Raiders. Very impressive.
2nd down 5, 30-yard line. They recovered a fumble at the Ramblers 45 to get this offensive series started. Inside handoff to number 3, running straight up ahead. That is Tom Bartlett. Bartlett trying to slant off the right side, gets about 2 yards inside the 30 to the 28. He'll be about 2 yards short of the first down, and a 3rd down coming up for the Red Raiders.
Powell and Pete Olds, a 6'3", 230-pound senior, going in for the Ramblers. Also coming in, Brian Bates, another big 12th grader, as Minna goes to some beef up front.
Putting the beef up front to try to stop this 3rd and short yardage. 3rd and 2 at the 28-yard line. Under 4:20 to play third quarter. Ramblers scored on their first 3 possessions, had a 22-0 lead. It's now 22-16. And St. Francis 3rd and 2 at the Ramblers 28. That is Bartlett in motion. Jays hands the ball to Hayes. Hayes running off the right side, breaks loose, has a first down inside the 25 at the 23, and a 1st and 10. Rashawn Powell back in the game for the Ramblers, makes the stop, but it's a 1st and 10 for St. Francis as they convert the 3rd and 2, and a good bit of running coming up here.
You'll see him run hard over the right side and bounce it over toward the center of the field, keeps those feet moving, picks up the first down. Gary, if they're running so well against Prep right here, you wonder what Austintown Fitch will do next week with the great wing T offense.
1st and 10. St. Francis, new set of downs to work with. Here's Hayes trying to cut it back inside, spins away, and then gets smacked by number 34, Jason Larson, who actually pushes the running back a couple of yards forward inside the 20 to about the 16-yard line. And a gain of about 4 yards on the play. So we'll call it 2nd and 6 from there.
And this is just straight ahead football. They don't even have to throw the football right now, Gary.
They're trying to win the battle up front, gain possession, gain control, and possibly gain the lead here if they can put it on the board. They trail by 6 with 3:20 left to play here in the third quarter. Jamie Jays, the 6', 165-pound junior, back to throw, looking, fires, and the ball's batted away at the line of scrimmage. Somebody got their hand up and batted the pass away.
79 getting kudos and plaudits. Brian Bates, 6'3", 270.
The big guy got his hand up and batted it down. Nicely done by Bates. Sets up 3rd and 6 for St. Francis at the 16-yard line. Clock is stopped, 3 minutes and 12 seconds. Ramblers scoring on 1-yard runs by Powell and Owen George. George also threw a touchdown pass to Ed Serafini. 3rd down and 6. Straight back to throw. Lobs it up for the end zone. Trying to grab it is Schuster. Incomplete. And defending on the play was Matt DeRamo, the 5'9", 165-pound junior, who stayed with Schuster the entire way. And it's 4th down again, and twice, Jim LaCourching, they have scored on 4th down plays as you look at the nice play by Ellis, or by DeRamo.
DeRamo saw it all the way. He was the only one that had a chance at catching it, kept good position. So St. Francis is going to take timeout. Obviously a big play, Gary.
We'll take a timeout as well. 4th down coming up. The Ramblers lead by 6.
Shop the Erie Sports Store's preseason buck sale before the word gets out. Erie Sports Stores, we do it right.
Erie Sports Store.
Tonight's dinner for the WSEE staff and crew was provided by Subway at the Pilot Travel Center, Exit 7 on Interstate 90.
Hey, Jim, again, I'm looking. No Carpet Craftsman across the way.
Gary, Carpet Craftsman is located at 27th and French across from Vet Stadium. We'll see them on our next doubleheader weekend, September 22nd and 23rd. They're having their back-to-school sale now. Stop in.
Carpet Craftsman, 27th and French across from Vet Stadium. Here's the situation. You see the score. We have 3 minutes and 7 seconds remaining in the third quarter, and the St. Francis squad has a 4th down and 6. They have to get inside the 10 for a first down. Here goes Jays, back to throw, rolling out of the pocket, looking, firing to the near sideline, tipped away, incomplete. The Ramblers' defense is held and will take over at the 16-yard line, 1st and 10.
Credit that to the prep secondary, Gary, but they did finally get a little pressure on Jays, the quarterback. But the linebackers, the secondary, they were in perfect position. No receiver was anywhere near open. Jays is looking, he's looking, he's looking. Now the pressure's starting to come. He fires it up for grabs, and you can see nothing but black jerseys there.
Yeah, best pitch was the intended receiver. He has been a favorite target of Jamie Jays in this ball game. And now the Ramblers, with exactly 3 minutes left on the clock in the third quarter, will try to do something with the football. They only lead by 6, so they can't afford to sit on it. And Justin Lustig immediately takes a seat thanks to the St. Francis defense, who knocked him around pretty good. And that's Kevin Summer, number 86.
Prep's offense right now, just, after they scored so easily those 3 times, they've just quit blocking. St. Francis is playing run all the way. There's just too many people to block, Gary. If they don't open it up, they're not going to run.
Asking the coach about the defense this week, Jim, he said, you'll be calling the name of Kevin Summer a lot. And that time he met Justin Lustig head on. George flinging it out to the right has Ramon Ellis. Ellis trying to skip by a defensive back, and that defensive back makes a great tackle. Chris Sortisio preventing Ellis from a big gainer up near the 25-yard line. He got 5 yards on the play, make it 3rd down and 6.
Right, Sortisio hanging on, Gary. It's going to be 3rd and shorter than that, I believe, as Ellis did fight for some positive yardage after he caught the ball.
2 minutes to go, third quarter. The Ramblers had a 22-0 lead midway through the second. St. Francis scoring late in the second quarter, and then on their first possession here of the second half, and adding a 2-point conversion after each touchdown to make it 22-16. Here is George, inside handoff to Powell, and Powell buries his way across the 25, appears to have a first down near the 29-yard line, and that would be a big first down for the Ramblers, as they would have been forced to punt from deep in their own territory had they not converted that 3rd down.
And they got to keep that defense off the field for a while, Gary. Rashawn Polly, a prototype fullback, head down, high knee kick. He runs well.
1st and 10, 29-yard line. George back to throw, flips it out to Ellis. They're giving him a lot of room, and he skips by a tackle, fumbles the football. It's on the ground, but he got it back at the 44-yard line. Almost disaster again as he juked his way past one defensive back and then coughed it up over on the far side of the field, but recovered his own fumble.
Gary, you can see one-on-one coverage with about an 8-yard cushion. He drops the ball. Fortunately for Prep, it bounces back to him. You can see right here just a 3-step drop, and boom. Gary, at what time do you hitch and go, give him the little fake, and Ellis takes off. Maybe a run up the middle and then a long pass to Ellis. Now they got him right at the line of scrimmage.
The rain, which had been falling pretty heavily in that first half, has subsided. It is completely stopped now. Here's Lustig on a delay at the 45, crosses midfield and then is run down, but not before he picks up a solid 8 yards. Tim Frisella, the big 5'10", 180-pound senior linebacker, finally ran him down, but Lustig had some room to run, reminiscent of some of those plays in the first half, Jim.
Gary, that's because they open it up with the pass. You got to have a passing attack if you're going to run the ball. It's that simple. And that time there was running room there because the linebackers were back a little there. Lustig had the running room. Those passes to Ellis opened everything up. Here's Ellis again with one-on-one coverage.
They give it to Powell. Powell off the right side has a first down, trying to fight his way forward. Gets to the 45-yard line before he is stopped. A late flag goes down, or did a player go down, Jim?
There's a player down for sure, Gary. Powell's up, but I think an offensive lineman, Minute George, comes out to check it out. We'll see who it is. And that's the center, Cesar Montevecchio.
Cesar Montevecchio, number 58.
Outstanding center, too. And boy, I'll tell you, Ronnie Wazorek coming in, a junior, I believe. But you hate to break up that tandem that's been handling the ball the whole game. Lustig, 13 carries, 107 yards rushing. Lockett, who had a huge first half, has not played since because of an ankle injury.
Powell is also gimpy, although he's still playing on an ankle, and now you lose your center, your starting center, Cesar Montevecchio. 25 seconds to go here in the third quarter, and a 1st and 10 for the Ramblers at the 45-yard line. George inside handoff to Powell, and Powell is stopped at the line of scrimmage in what very well could be the final play here of the third quarter.
Gary, those linebackers are coming so quick, they're almost intercepting the handoff. They got to do something to offset that.
Maybe a delay. Lustig has had some good success with that delay. The clock is winding down. We will not get another playoff before the end of the third quarter. After 3, the Ramblers have a 22-16 lead. We'll be back at Gus Anderson Field in a moment.
What a sandwich!
Taco Bell introduces the Texas Taco Sandwich. Oven-baked flatbread with chicken or beef and a tangy southwestern sauce. Starting at 99 cents. It tastes so big, it ought to be outlawed. Yummy.
Ooh, it's Giant Eagle Pro Series film. Look at that color. Look at that light. Look at that sunset so clear and bright. Ooh, it's such a beautiful sight. I get the picture now. 100, 200, 400 speed. Double your money back guaranteed. Good as the national brands, it's true. But it costs less than they do. Giant Eagle Pro Series film. So simple for you.
Jim Likorchik. Jim, 22-16. The Ramblers have had their lead cut from 22 down to 6, but they're in the midst of a pretty good offensive surge right now.
But they certainly needed it, Gary. I'll tell you that much, because St. Francis has the momentum. Again, they're sending everybody against the run.
Start of the fourth quarter. George back to throw, slips by a break. Now comes forward. He's into the secondary inside the 45. Great running all the way down to the 30-yard line by quarterback Owen George. And a first down, avoided a sack, and then got about 20 yards before Steve Schuster finally dropped him at the 30-yard line.
Gary, again, look at this. Everybody comes in untouched. Now, I don't know if that was a screen pass or not, but that's a great individual effort by Owen George. And if they go on to win this game, they can look at that play as possibly one of the game savers, because Prep offensive line blocked absolutely nobody.
Owen George, the 6'3", 170-pound senior quarterback. Here is Lustig, running gingerly over that left side, had the hole closed on him quickly up to the 28. Tim Frisella did the closing after a gain of 2.
Gary, the way they're sending those linebackers, I think they're better off with a quick pitch than just standing back there handing the ball off.
Number 3 for the Ramblers,
Eric Hinkler
in the game. And he is at the one flanker position. Powell, who left the game momentarily with the gimpy ankle, is back in at the fullback position, along with Lustig. Quick toss to Ellis. Ellis makes the catch and then is immediately dumped at the 26-yard line by Chris Sortisio. Sortisio right on top of the play, and they've used that about 3 or 4 times here in the second half, Jim. Just a quick 2-step drop by Owen George and a flip out to Ellis.
Yeah, but that time Sortisio cut the margin of error, Gary. That's the time they may have wanted the little fake pump and then take off.
3rd down and 7 for the Ramblers. First couple of minutes here of the fourth quarter. Prep 22, St. Francis 16, and what appeared to be a blowout on a heavily rainy night is turning out to be a very competitive game. Timeout in favor of the Ramblers, and we'll take a timeout as well. 10:22 to go in our ball game. The Ramblers with the lead and a timeout on the field.
The 91 edition of Rambler football has been considered by many to be one of the best in Prep history. By rolling over opponents and continuing the Prep tradition of success, these Metro League and Western Pennsylvania champs finished the year at 14-1. Prep also ranked 12th in the U.S. with their 6th consecutive District 10 title.
This Prep Flashback has been brought to you by Beals McMahon Painting. Just as Cathedral Prep is committed to excellence, Beals McMahon brings you the best in professional painting.
Every day, people are throwing away money in their home, in their workplace, on trips. Wherever they go, you see money being thrown away and wasted. You wouldn't throw money away. That just wouldn't be right. But you are throwing money away every time you don't recycle. Metal, glass, some plastic, newspapers, and magazines. Recycling is just like money in the bank. When we recycle, we conserve natural resources and save space at landfills. Recycling makes good sense, so start saving today. For more information, call the recycling hotline.
Gary Drapcho with Jim LaCorchick, and a 3rd and 7 and a big play for the Ramblers on the 27-yard line. The quick pitch to Powell, running into the secondary, trying to surge forward on the first down, still on his feet, driving inside the 20. Kevin Summer made the stop, but Powell, Jim, is very close to a first down and a good bit of running.
That's what I was going to tell you, Gary. It's just the quick pitch is much better off right now against that defense rather than standing back there and trying to hand it off. St. Francis is playing off tackle all the way. You can see right now Paul already has the corner turn, does what he's supposed to do, get the first down. He turned it right upfield behind a good block by the Ramblers' Eugene Crosby.
Just as impressive as St. Francis keeping their poise after being down 22-0 and making it 22-16, the Ramblers with poise coming back with a big drive here. Here is Powell banging off tackles inside the 15 and down to the 12-yard line. Was there a fumble? Somebody came out of it. Schuster came out of it with St. Francis with the football, but did they mark Powell down back at the 12-yard line?
They said the whistle blew, but I do not agree, Gary. I saw him working on the ball. He stripped him of it. You'll see it right here. Powell with a good run, breaks a tackle at the line of scrimmage. Schuster comes in, he's stripping the ball away from him and takes it away from him. A great defensive play. Again, you'll see Schuster go right for the ball. Powell's on his feet, Schuster takes it away.
There's no way that the football should now be still in the hands of the Ramblers. Powell picked up 7, and now George on the quarterback keeper is knocked down by Summer again from behind. Managed to stretch out close to the 10, but he'll be a couple of yards short of the first down marker.
Looks like Owen George on that play had the corner turn, but a great defensive play by St. Francis. The defender knocked the feet out from the prep quarterback. So the Ramblers on 3rd and 1. Gary, what do? You look for Rashawn Powell again?
Let's see if they can take advantage of what appeared to be a shaky call. It appeared that Schuster had stripped the football away from Powell. The referee said no, it stays in the hands of prep. Let's see if they can take advantage of the call in their favor. 3rd down and 2. George takes the snap, and the play is whistled dead, and I think somebody for the Ramblers moved too soon. I think we're going to get 5 yards, or did we have somebody jump on the St. Francis side?
Now, I saw St. Francis jump, Gary, but I couldn't see the prep offensive line. I saw a couple guys break into the neutral zone.
It is procedure, a call against St. Francis. And so that is a first down. They only needed 2 yards to get the first down. The 5-yard penalty will mark it back to the 5-yard line. Here's the third quarter stats, Jim.
St. Francis coming on. The Ramblers with 17 first downs. Red Raiders 8, 264-58 rush, 89-50 passing for St. Francis, 314 to 147. Prep with a turnover.
First and goal at the 5. George takes the step, hands it to Lustig off the right side, trying to fight his way into the end zone, gets to the goal line, but doesn't get in. They did not give him the touchdown, just came up short. Almost tried to stretch the ball out over the goal line to break the plane of the goal line, but didn't get the call. And it's second and goal from about the 1-yard line.
Here you'll see Lustig, good hole there, and gets right to the line of scrimmage. Ball was almost over. If he's for the Patriots, it would have been a touchdown. Lustig gets to the line of scrimmage. Almost broke the ball up, Gary. The ball popped up in midair, and Lustig got it. Ron Wazorek, junior center, coming in doing a nice job for the ailing Montevecchio. Montevecchio and Lockett on the sidelines, 2 of Prep's best seniors.
Second and goal from the 1. Straight ahead give to the fullback. He's into the end zone for a touchdown. A big Ramblers offensive drive capped off for a 1-yard touchdown run. His second touchdown of the night by Rashawn Powell. And the Ramblers strike back and lead it 28-16. That was a big, big offensive series and score, Jim.
And Powell hit on the 2-yard line. That was all individual effort. Again, though, Gary, a very big non-call on that play when it appeared St. Francis stripped Prep of the ball. But again, Prep goes on the road last week and not happy with the officiating, and I'm sure St. Francis is not going to go back to Buffalo and sing accolades for this.
Rave about the similar to the Youngstown Ursuline coach, who always has some nice things to say. Here's a flip pitch out to Lustig, and the thing is smelled out. Lustig is still loose. They finally have got him down, and the 2-point conversion attempt is no good. But the Ramblers add to their lead. 7:40 to go in the football game. Prep leading 28-16.
What it is, what it isn't. It is the arrival of the fittest, the new Toyota Tacoma. It isn't the same compact truck millions have known. It is better looking, with better performance. Better than Ford, Chevy, and Dodge from 0 to 60, loaded and unloaded. One more thing. It is a great time to see your Toyota dealer to get your best deal on a new Tacoma.
Clarion University. We offer more than 70 different academic choices to help you prepare for a career. In some of the hottest, fastest growing fields. Clarion University, meeting the challenge of a professional career.
The Metro League Game of the Week has been brought to you by Taco Bell, Cross the Border, Indiana University of Pennsylvania, and Giant Eagle. It takes a giant to make life simple.
The Ramblers kicking off, and they're going to kick a short kick, and as he kicks the football, it is whistled dead. I think somebody might have jumped off sides. There's the ball breaking the plane on the first run. That's the first play by Justin Lustig. He probably should have got credit for the touchdown. Nice shot by our sideline camera, Jim Stewart.
Excellent coverage.
Showing that you see Lustig's shadow right there, so he was definitely across the goal line. He didn't get credit for it, but a play later, Rashawn Powell did. Nice job. Okay, number 8, Eric Wilkos will tee it up again. There was a 5-yard offsides penalty. They'll tee it up from the 35-yard line now. Kick another low kick that dribbles down to the 30. Number 4, best pitch, picks it up, spins out of one tackle, has nowhere to go as the Ramblers special teams come down and nail him, and a late flag thrown into the mix as well.
I think we're going to have spearing or a late hit on Prep, I really do, which is just the kind of errors that drive Minute George crazy.
Sean Henry, a senior defensive back, split end, coming down nicely on the special teams. Here's the unsportsmanlike conduct call. It is waved against Cathedral Prep. So instead of the St. Francis Red Raiders having the ball at the 30, they're going to have it at the 45-yard line.
Nice idea by the Prep specials team. Great coverage. They come down there, boom, everybody's on the ground, and then a little late hit by number 21.
Sean Henry.
John Slupski, number 13, right, Gary, on the original hit?
On the original hit, made the nice play, yes. And Henry was the man, I believe, that was called for the penalty. All right, good field position. Because of that penalty, they mark it at the 47-yard line. And St. Francis now trailing by 12, 28-16 with 7:20 and counting. In the shotgun formation. Jay's back to throw. Lots of time. Swings it out. Caught and dumped immediately. Rashawn Powell dumping his counterpart, number 22, Josh Hayes. Had that one smelled out, gave Hayes the 3-yard catch, but didn't let him get any farther upfield.
No, Powell read that one all the way. Hey, I think Jays knew it was going to happen, didn't want to give it to him. Thought, well, better him than me. I'll unload it. Powell's played a very good game
yes,
here,
he has.
Offensively and defensively.
He scored 2 touchdowns. I think he's a candidate for our player of the game. What do you think, Jim?
Absolutely.
There's Jim. Under center. Jay's back to throw. Quickly out to Scortizio. Makes the catch. Turns up field into the 50 and then spun down nicely at the 48-yard line. And a gain of about 4 on the play. Sets up 3rd down now with under 6 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. You saw a shot of our sideline camera, and thanks to Bill Clenz of Clenz Farm in Northeast for the use of the Gator, which was carrying our sideline camera. Jim Stewart down there working the camera. Those low angle shots that you see on the replays that Jim LaCourcic so delicately and with such finesse describes.
Thank you.
Are shot by Jim Stewart. 3rd down and 5. Big play for St. Francis here. They're set up at the 47-yard line. Schuster in motion. They swing it out to Best Pitch. Best Pitch looking for some room to run. He's not going to get away from Rashawn Powell, who drops him at the 46. Ramon Ellis came up to help him out. but Powell all over the field from his linebacker position, Jim.
That was a great job by Powell because they ran a good pattern. They had two receivers. The one receiver came out as a blocker. Powell took on the blocker and then made the tackle one-on-one. Gary, this wasn't a very good sequence offensively for St. Francis, down 2 touchdowns. They've used up about 2 minutes already. They got to go for it on 4th down, 4th and 2, but not a real good offensive series so far.
I thought they'd come out and start firing the ball upfield, Jim, 10, 15-yard patterns. They've been swinging it out into the flats. 4th down and 2, the ball just short of the 45-yard line. They'd have to get to the 38 or the 43 for a first down. They swing it out, incomplete on 4th down, and the Ramblers take over.
Boy, I'll tell you, sophomore linebacker Irvin just crushed the St. Francis quarterback.
Ryan Irvin.
You know, those 2 sophomore linebackers, and here comes Irvin on the blitz. And boy, did he ever get a clean hit. The 2 sophomore linebackers, both their fathers are Erie police officers, Gary. Little trivia for you that I'm sure you and a lot of people don't care about, but I thought I'd put it out there anyhow, doggone it.
But it's nice that you came up with it.
It is? Thanks, Gary.
Absolutely.
Can I come back in 2 weeks?
28-16. I hope you come back tomorrow. How about that?
Oh, that's right.
Inside handoff to Powell, who buries his way to the 50-yard line. On WSEE, Channel 35 in Erie, Pennsylvania. Picket fences, by the way, coming up very shortly here. You will not miss a beat, as always. I know there's a lot of picket fences out there. I think you tape it, right, Jim?
Tape it, watch it, tape it while I'm taping it. Gary, I'll tell you what, I didn't like St. Francis's offensive plays that time. They used 2.5 minutes to try and get 1 first down. Didn't make sense.
Here is the give to Powell again. They're just trying to work the clock. Powell banging off tackles, gets inside the 50. Tom Bestpitch came up to make the stop. And it will be 3rd down and about 3 as they've worked the ball into St. Francis territory. We'll be coming up to picket fences very soon. Our player of the game on the Cathedral Prep side is number 22, Rasan Powell. And I think with the yardage, which you see him having, Jim, 18 carries.
For 72 yards, probably about 9 or 10 tackles and a couple touchdowns. I think he's a great player of the game.
He has been all over the field defensively, and he gets the football again, tries to move it forward enough to get close to a first down. All they really want to do is knock some time off the clock. They're down under 3:45 as you see some of the fine people that put our game of the week together. Daryl Caruana and the gang back at the studio, Paul Gibbons in our truck, and lots of others who take part in this. We're just the front runners in this, Jim LaCourci, but we've got many others like Steve Sensor doing the stats, Don Rowe up here producing in our booth, and Tim Merritt doing the spotting.
Great camera work this evening.
Absolutely. And our thanks again to Mill Creek for Gus Anderson Field. Owen George on 4th down, moves forward, and does he pick up the first down? He's trying to stretch forward inside the 45. He does. Steve Schuster tried to stop him, but could not, and it appears that Owen George has picked up a first down that may have put this one in the bag, as they're down to 3:09 left to play here in the 4th quarter. 2 scores are needed, 2 touchdowns are needed, and a 2-point conversion.
Gary, that's the same play St. Francis runs where he fakes the handoff and the quarterback follows him through. The only difference is St. Francis plans it. Owen, just the timing was broken when they bobbled the snap. But again, showing great running ability tonight, breaking tackles and finding the hole.
They didn't need that measurement. We knew up here a long time. It was by a good yard. It's a first down. Our player of the game for St. Francis, and I think maybe, of course, Jim LaCourci could agree with me. How about Tom Bestpitch?
Nice.
For his great catching ability. We'll be heading to picket fences here in about 3 minutes as we wind down the final minutes of this game. The Ramblers on their way to a win to even their record at 1-1 on the season. Here comes Justin Lustig for another great run into the secondary, into the 35 and the 33-yard line. Schuster made the stop as Lustig, again, running free into the secondary, and it looks like he's cramping up a bit. So the Ramblers have not gotten out of this one clean. They've suffered some injuries. Lockett and Montevecchio, both when they left the game with injuries, did not return, and Lustig a little banged up.
There's that gambling defense, and I'll tell you, Lustig's left hip has been bothering him. But you look over on the prep sideline, you see Montevecchio with his leg up. He's got ice around his knee. Lustig, they're looking to hit his left hip. Lockett is hobbling on an ankle.
Here comes Powell breaking into the secondary, 25-20, driving forward. Steve Schuster makes the stop, but not before another first down for the Ramblers at the 20-yard line. And Cathedral Prep on their way to winning this game and evening up their record at 1-1. They've got a couple of big ones coming up, though. Both of them should be at the stadium as you take a look at Powell again. Jim, Austintown Fitch next Friday night, and then Cincinnati Moeller, a televised game that we'll have for you 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Austintown Fitch probably the best team on the prep schedule. And I'll tell you right now, the Ramblers are going to have to be much better defensively against that wing T of the Falcons.
28-16, you see the score. We'll be joining Picket Feitz's momentarily as the Ramblers have just about wrapped this one up. Don't forget, St. Mary's and Strong Vincent on tap tomorrow as our first doubleheader game of the week weekend takes place here. Glad to bring you the Cathedral Prep game tonight from Gus Anderson, and we'll just leave everything right here in the press box and come back here tomorrow night at 8 and do it all over again. Jim McCorchik.
Look, talking about the wing T, Gary, I'm anxious to see the Strong Vincent wing T, and especially Myotis at quarterback. He's been outstanding in his career. That's going to be fun to watch.
They were down 21-0 to Brookville and made it 21-20 and missed on a two-point conversion last week, and most of that was Mike Myotis running and throwing the football a week ago.
Did anybody ask Joe Buffalino why he went for 2 and not to tie and then overtime?
Yes, we did.
And what did he say?
They were not confident with the kick at that point and thought they could get the 2 yards in and get the win. And that's exactly what he said. 28-16, timeout for St. Francis. A good time for us to say goodnight. Final thoughts here. A pretty impressive win by the Ramblers. They had a little momentum swing there in the middle of the game, but they pretty much dominated in between that time.
Yeah, great run.